Welcome back to another edition of Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. We like to call it the Hump Day edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Oh, training camp has begun all across the NFL. What a beautiful thing. We'll get into it and discuss the Dallas Cowboys. We got news, notes, and nuggets from Dallas Cowboys training camp. The Texans signed one of their offensive linemen, their right tackle, Titus Howard, to an extension. We'll talk about what that means for the Houston Texans. We'll do predictions and discuss offensive rookie of the years and defensive rookie of the years potentially, and also the least and most experienced teams in the NFL. We'll get to a lot of NFL news, notes, and nuggets. Go Astros! Astros with another win over the Rangers in that series. Hopefully they can break out the brooms. We'll talk about it. Lionel Messi, definitely worth the price of admission, and that's a whole lot of straight cash, homie, we're talking about. Also, we'll get into some college football discussion. Expectations for Texas football are sky high. Once again, a national analyst putting Texas at 11 wins for their prediction. We'll talk about that and get into expectations for Texas football, go behind the burnt orange curtain a little bit, and also predict the breakout players for Texas football this upcoming season, and discuss who's traveling the most in this new look Big 12 coming up. There are a lot of other news, notes, and nuggets to get to. Plenty to talk about right here on Ball Don't Lie. Hart's going to be coming in a little bit later on, but of course, I'm never alone because I got the Idealionaire, one of the hardest working members of the ARN family. He's got a hustler spirit, period. We don't know what he's paid. We're pretty damn sure this man is underpaid. It's Patrick Davis, y'all. What's going on, Patrick?
I mean, 2 days in a row, I get to talk about the Astros beating the Rangers.
Woo! I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to jinx it. I don't think we made predictions on the games. We were just going to watch them and try to enjoy it. You know what?
I haven't been enjoying them. I know Rangers fans ain't, but
yeah,
I've been enjoying them.
And been drama in both games.
There has been drama.
A lot of drama in both of those games. And I actually feel I can feel right now how upset Rangers fans are. I know the first game, that wasn't as, I don't know, I don't think that was as controversial as a call. There was I think this call in the 8th inning last night was a little more controversial.
It's one of those.
It's a big determining factor.
It was one of those things where you're like, I really wish on both of these we could have had the audio of them deciding it. So we could have gone, hey, so this is the reason why we're making this call.
Oh, yeah.
So that we
the
go,
explanation
okay,
from the
I get
officials.
that. And they're not just like, I feel like.
Yeah. No, so I feel for Rangers fans out there. That's a tough loss. They both have been tough losses, but that was a tough loss because that was a big controversial call in the 8th inning that Rangers fans might have cost them the matchup. And they think they got hosed on that one. A lot of Rangers fans thought they got hosed in Game 1 and Game 2. We sympathize with you. So we'll talk Astros and Rangers coming up in the next segment. And good news for the Astros. There's talk, at least the GM's hinting, that Altuve and Jordan could be back for Game 3. Now, I don't know why you would need them for Game 3.
And Fromber? Fromber Valdez could be pitching tonight.
Yeah, I know. So,
you could tie the division, and I believe we have a head-to-head record right now, so we would technically be taking over the division if we won tonight.
Wow. Big game. Big game for the Rangers. And I don't know. I feel the Rangers are going to take one in this series. Breaking out the brooms on the Rangers, considering they were playing so well, that seemed like to me, I don't know, very lofty as an Astros fan to have that type of those ambitions for the Astros in this series. But I'll admit the Astros have looked really good, and that's without Jose Altuve, without Jordan Alvarez. They've had injuries. And by the way, Rangers have had injuries too.
Yeah,
they've had
Dolis
guys
Garcia's missed Game 1.
Nathan Eovaldi's have been out. They got Marcus
Seager.
Semien. Is it Semien? Oh no,
Corey Seager.
Corey Seager, excuse me.
Yes, Corey Seager.
He's been out. Yeah, so they've had their issues as well. All right, we'll talk some baseball coming up next segment. We'll also get into a little bit of discussion. And we didn't talk about this yesterday about Jaylen Brown. I want to get Patrick's thoughts on the richest contract signed in NBA history, which is crazy to say Jaylen Brown would sign that one. Technically, that is the case. Yeah. That's a lot of money for Jaylen Brown. I didn't think Jaylen Brown was one of those guys, but this is the max player thing.
Yeah,
the max contract
this
thing.
is whatever. There's a couple things in it that I would not have put in. But,
okay. All right.
But,
I want to get your thoughts on it because I know we didn't get into it yesterday because there was so many guys signing contracts yesterday. We didn't get to it. You had like 3 different guys sign contracts. We also had some big-time contract updates and headlines from today, and they hit close to home, too, because Titus Howard for the Texans signed a big deal. All right, so we'll get to that, too, coming up. We also are going to talk in fact, my man Harge, he's coming in. He's going to tell you who's got for Harge Knock Life. He's got special guests. So we'll get to that, too, coming up and give you the lowdown there. You can always be a part of the show. Specs Text Line's the best way to do it. 512-337-3776. Let's give you some updates on Cowboys training camp. Okay, so the best news coming out of Cowboys training camp, well, the best news, there's some good news. And there are two, I think, really nuggets of good news for Cowboys fans. One, Terrence Steele is basically ready to return to camp. He is not going to start the season on the PUP list, which is the physically unable to perform list. And that's really good news for the Cowboys because the Cowboys' offensive line right now, and they'll get it. They're without their best offensive lineman, really their best offensive player in Zach Martin because he's holding out. He's going to get his money. Jerry even said he's a part of our plans, and he's going to get his money. They expect a resolution to that, but he is officially holding out because he did not join the team when training camp started. Matt Forniak and Josh Ball are among the top options on the first team without Zach Martin. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Right now, he's the 9th highest paid offensive lineman, so it makes sense that he's holding out. He should not be outside the top 5, honestly, considering he's the best offensive guard. He's the 9th highest paid offensive guard, I should have said, in the NFL. But he deserves to always be in the top 5 of offensive guards because he is the best guard, arguably, in the league. Madden has him with a 99 rating. I think he posted that on social media too. So Terrence Steele coming back after tearing his ACL, MCL, and FL too. Like it was just a really devastating injury. He actually now returns to camp, and now you can have available when Zach Martin is signed and there's closure to that issue, which I believe there will be. You'll have access to your best 5 offensive linemen, and they can figure out where they want to put Tyler Smith because he can play tackle and play guard, figure out what they want to do with Tyron Smith, whether he's going to be your right tackle or your left tackle. It seems to me that their best combination would be Tyron Smith really Tyler Smith might be at left tackle and Terrence Smith at right tackle, but then I don't know what you would do with Tyron Smith. And to get your best 5 out there hard, you got to have Tyron Smith at left tackle, Tyler Smith at left guard, then Terrence Steele at right tackle, then Zach Martin, who plays right or left. Which one does Zach Martin play, right or left?
He actually plays the
Is it left? I think
side.
it's the left. So then, you'll have Tyler Smith on the right playing guard, and then you'll have Zach Martin on the left playing guard, and then Terrence Steele would be your right tackle.
Yeah.
So that's how you get your best 5 out there. But I don't know if that's their best combination, but that's your best 5 offensive linemen. I don't know if that's your most productive, I should say, combination.
Yeah, and you sit here and you look at it, and Zach Martin does play right guard. He plays
right
next
guard.
to Steele.
So left, Tyler Smith will be the left guard.
Yeah, Terrence Steele will be the other one on there. So you sit there and you look at that combination, and this is the time where you start to figure that out, right? Do you see which ones are going to be your best ones? How are they going to perform in training camp? What type of shape are they in when it gets ready for the game? And the comfortableness, right? You got to be able to you've worked together on one side of the ball for a while. And that has been the biggest thing for me is when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, Tyron Smith, the problem is you don't know how long you're going to have Tyron Smith. Because he always has an injury at some point.
Very true.
You know you're going to have to prepare somebody to step back out to the left tackle position, and that's why Tyler Smith was so good last year. He was very impressive. You knew going into the draft, I was like, man, I don't know about this, man. I really can't see how this is going to work. And then, boom, he goes out there, and he is an absolute savage. He didn't have that many penalties, which I thought was going to be the biggest problem. He played a really, really good left guard and left tackle because don't forget they brought Big Boy in too. Mm-hmm. Big Boy is coming in there. What was it? Jason Peters. Yeah, from the Eagles. He came in, and that's when everybody started to learn a little bit different, and that's when you got to see all these different combinations as well. But you're right. You got to have Zach Martin in there, and think about what Terrence Steele has become. This guy was, I believe, undrafted.
Undrafted out of Tech.
Out of Texas Tech, and he is now, to your point, one of the best offensive linemen that the Cowboys have, and they're going to make sure that they pay him too.
Yeah, I mean
That's the other part about it,
You want
man.
to see how he bounces back from
Yeah.
injury, but there's no doubt Terrence Steele is your best option at right tackle. Remember, they moved Tyron Smith to right tackle for a little while, and I don't know if it was a fruitful experiment.
Yeah.
I think they like him at left tackle, but if you put him at left tackle, like you said, you better have an insurance policy behind him. I think Tyler Smith is that insurance policy.
Yep.
He can go from guard to tackle, and then at that point, you just got to figure out another solution for guard. But
Yep.
I mean, Terrence Steele, like I said, he is, to me, I think he is one of your success stories
He is
in
100%.
the development.
Yes.
In the development aspect for the Cowboys. I mean, that's a guy's undrafted who now has turned into a starting tackle in the NFL. Like I said, I want to see how he comes
And
off
about
the
to
injury.
get paid.
It is,
Yeah,
if he comes off
if
the
he
injury
comes
really
off,
well.
yeah.
That's, I think, a big part of this is how does he look coming off the injury. But for him, it's a contract year, so he's as motivated as he will ever be.
Well, you know as well as I
Yeah.
do, when people are for that contract, they always seem to have the best career, best season ever. They don't deal with injuries. They are ready to go. As soon as they get that paper, little nick here,
Hey.
little scratch here. I got to sit out for a little bit. So it is what it is. And for me, the Cowboys' offensive line is going to be the biggest spot for them to be successful, because we were talking before about the running game and how we don't know what it's going to be. When the Cowboys were really rolling, they had a good offensive line and they had a great running game. That is going to be the biggest question for me. But they do have some pieces.
Yeah, when Tyler Smith is at left tackle and they put Tyron Smith at right tackle, they were averaging like 105 rushing yards per game, but they were giving up 2.8 sacks per game with that combination. When Tyler Smith's at left tackle and Terrence Steele was at right tackle, 143 rushing yards per game and only allowing 1 sack.
Yeah.
That seems to be the best combination in terms of tackle. But then what the hell do you do with Tyron Smith? And it'll make you weaker in the interior O-line
Correct.
because you won't have Tyler Smith. So like I said, you may have more productivity or better efficiency based on some combinations, but getting your best 5 offensive linemen out there, there's no doubt you got to throw Terrence Steele and put Tyler Smith inside and put Terrence Steele at that right tackle.
Yep.
Okay. Getting to the other news, notes, and nuggets from Cowboys camp, Jordan Lewis, this is bad news, I guess. He's going to start on the PUP list. He suffered that Liz Frank injury last season.
Never good.
And he's not going to come back, at least on the predicted schedule. I think it'll be early. He's not going to come back early because I believe the average median time to return from a Liz Frank injury is around 11 months or something like that. So he might be 11 months in September. So he's going to start on the PUP list. That actually is not for the it's bad news for him, but for the Cowboys, it is not debilitating.
Nope.
Because Deron Bland, who had 5 interceptions last year,
Speak on it.
who stepped up as one of the best nickel slot corners in all the NFL. So you want to give him more time, and he stepped up in Jordan Lewis's absence after the injury. And now you got Eric Scott, who was he a 6th round pick?
6th round pick.
And they love him. Apparently, Dan Quinn's been raving about this young man, and he's another guy that they like to play in the slot. And then there's Kelvin Joseph, who we don't know what Boss Man Fats is going to end up being for the Cowboys. He may end up being traded or cut. Who knows? They got Nashawn Wright, though.
Yep.
They got Israel Makiyamu. He can play nickel. He also can play safety. So they got options. This is not, for the Cowboys, like I said, this is not terrible news. For Jordan Lewis, I'm sure it's very disappointing.
It's very disappointing for him, especially because of the fact that he will have fallen further behind on that depth chart. And just for those who hadn't been paying attention to the Jordan Lewis news and who he actually is, for a few years, the Cowboy fans were pretty much done with him. They didn't really feel him as that slot because because he was also playing actual corner at one point.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden we realized, hey man, he's actually pretty talented out of Michigan, but he's not a big corner. He's 5'10", 195 pounds, and now dealing with that injury, as well as I do, as an athlete, guys that have to cut all the time, when you have that Liz Frank injury, that's a little bit different for you on your feet when you're starting to try to move around. It's going to be going to be something too, whether you're a big guy or a little guy. Liz Frank is never a good thing to have next to your name.
Yeah, that's why it takes so long to come back, basically a year just to get back. And if you get back, like you said, it's still a struggle to try to get to the level of play that you want or that's expected. Yeah, I don't know why Cowboys fans are tough on DBs.
Very much so.
I mean, I really don't get it. I've been covering the Cowboys for a decade plus now. Yeah, you guys are really tough on DBs because Jordan Lewis, he was a playmaker. I mean, he was making plays out there for the Cowboys. But I guess Cowboys fans don't like a guy that gets beat. But man, he was, like I said, he was making plays.
See, that's
Didn't
the
like
thing.
that guy. Trevon Diggs, they're skeptical on Trevon Diggs, but the guy makes plays. Everybody gets beat. Yeah, it's the NFL.
Yep, it's going to happen.
They're all going to get beat, man.
Exactly.
The guys that come back into making plays, people were mad at Trevon Diggs saying, Trevon Diggs, I don't know if he's worth that kind of money, even though it's only top 5 cornerback money. I'm like, only. It's still big time money.
Yeah.
But not realizing Cowboys have led the NFL in takeaways the last 2 years. And I believe Trevon Diggs has accounted for more than 20% of those.
Yeah. and not only that, he brings them back to the house. He scores touchdowns.
Right. I believe they had 67 takeaways in the last 2 years
He
total.
put points
and he's
on the
had,
board.
14?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, trust me.
It was like, dude,
I'm not
you don't
one
think
of
that
those
deserves
people.
to get paid?
I'm not one of those people.
Dude,
I
he's-
believe that he deserves to
Right.
get paid.
I'm like, he's basically.
Because if he goes somewhere else, you're going to be mad because he's going to be making plays against you.
I'm like, that to me, that would have been, hell, he should have got paid more. I'd have went in with that stat. Like, what? 20% out your takeaways, man. This dude's out there cashing in.
Which is why your boy Zach Martin, he knows what his stats are. That's why he's taking it in there.
He's going there with that Madden
And
rating.
he's going with
Excuse me,
Madden
Have you
rating.
seen Madden ratings lately?
And
I'm
you
a
know I'm
99.
part of it.
I'm a 99.
Yeah.
Yeah, I deserve to be paid. And he's going to get his money. I don't think Cowboys fans should be concerned about that at all. That's actually not, I think, something to be stressed out about.
Especially
I think
when
he just
you're
wants to
starting-
miss training camp at this point. He's old guys like
He's
that.
a veteran.
They vets are like,
He's a
man,
vet.
I don't want to go in there to like week 3 of the training camp, and then I can waltz on in there. Oh, we doing game planning now? Great, let's go.
Especially when he got a chance to see Titus Howard get paid today.
Yeah, she's telling his agents to slow play it, bro.
Yeah.
Slow play it. The
I'm
Cowboys
working
like,
out.
we want to pay him. It's like, no. Let's ask for something unrealistic.
Yeah.
So give me some more time.
We'll work on that.
He wants a fully guaranteed deal. Well, we can't do that. All right, you got about 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. You want more time? Ask
Yep.
for a fully guaranteed deal.
That'll give you a little bit more
You're gonna
time.
get some.
That's right.
You gonna get a little bit more time unless you David Mulligetta.
Yeah.
Unless you're the agent for Deshaun Watson like David Mulligetta was. That's about the only one.
Yep.
Okay, let's get back to some more Cowboys Nuggets. So another big story is that Tony Pollard is ahead of schedule. He is not going to start the season on the PUP list. That was some concern too, that maybe he wouldn't come back 100%, or at least maybe he wouldn't be on the right timeline or schedule. Looks like he's ahead of schedule, or at least on schedule, so he's going to be back with the Cowboys at the start of the season. I'm still concerned about the Cowboys and running back. I don't like the way they've approached it in the offseason. I love everything else they've done. The one issue I don't think the Cowboys were approaching in a responsible manner this offseason. I thought they did a great job with the cornerback spot opposite Diggs. Great job addressing the hole in the middle of the defense when that rush defense, when Leighton Vander Esch went out and Jonathan Hankins went out. So they're like, man, let's go get a Leighton Vander Esch. Let's go get us a little Leighton Vander Esch. Let's get DeMarvion Overshown in case something happens to our linebacking core again. And then let's go get Mozzie Smith in the first round, a Rock of Gibraltar in the middle. I do think they were a little careless and haphazard with their approach to running back in the offseason. And I hope it doesn't come back to bite them.
I would agree with you on that.
I hope it doesn't.
But here's the deal, and this is the conversation. And it's going to sound like I'm going the other way on this deal. But we've talked about the running back position and the value of it. How much money are you willing to pay? You're just getting ready to pay Tony Pollard, 10.9, I guess that's what's
the
on
franchise.
there.
I think it's 10.1 or something.
Yeah,
something
so
like
then
that,
you look at what your opportunity will be with another running back. If you're not going to play the guy that you believe is your franchise player more money, who are you going to go out there and get in the value side of it? The best of news that you gave was when we talked about Deontay Foreman. That should have been the name that you went after right away because he was on the cheap, he's looking for a home, and he's a Texas kid. It would have been a perfect situation. You want to look at money? You would have been able to sell jerseys for a kid from the state of Texas that went to Texas. And now, but I think that was the other part of it. He didn't want to pay nobody that went to Texas.
DeMarvion Overshown went to Texas?
Yeah, on the defensive side. He
That's
wasn't
true.
looking at that. And he's not a running back.
Yeah.
And he's not a running back. So, yeah, I would look at what the Cowboys did, and you know how I felt about it the whole time. I kept saying, go get those types of guys. I wanted them to go get Jordan Hicks when Jordan Hicks was out there, just because of the value that you were going to get from him, and you kind of messed up on that. So maybe, like everything else, we like our guys. We like what they have in that running back room, but I don't see it. Because everybody wants to talk about Malik Davis, and I'm still waiting for Malik Davis to be that guy. Maybe this is it. Because wasn't he in the same backfield in college with Damian Pierce? Didn't they go to Florida together? I think they were drafted together.
Could be. I haven't done a lot of research on him. I don't think the Cowboys have. I love Tony Pollard. I think he's awesome. I think you need insurance policies, contingency plans behind Tony Pollard, considering he's coming off the injury. Speaking of injuries, Specs text line, people keep hitting us up. And yes, Jane Slater, along with Todd Archer, did report earlier today that Donovan Wilson wrote a car. Basically, he was carted off the field for some reason or another. Staff decided to take X-rays on his right calf, apparently, and apparently they'll know more about that later on. So he's getting examined.
Yeah.
So I don't know how serious it is, but yeah, Donovan Wilson just signed his big deal. Hey, that's why you sign your big deal.
Yeah.
That's why you get that
That's
cash.
why you get that. And now all of a sudden, ooh, those injuries are a little bit different.
Well,
it's just a calf. That's a cramp.
That's big money.
Yeah, but that's a cramp.
Yeah, that's big money, though.
Yeah.
You take big money off the field. You're invested now in him.
Exactly.
Before he was invested, he was like, "Now you got to play through that, man. Play through that."
Yep.
But now, no, you invest. That's big money out there, man. Pull big money off the field. No.
Yeah, and he was the leading tackler last year for the Dallas Cowboys.
No, he's a great player.
I'm loving him. He was lighting people up every single play. He was that guy that I'm like, man, he keeps getting better and better and better, and he's a headhunter.
Nobody plays more safeties, 3 safeties, than the Cowboys. They play a ton of those 3 safeties with Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, and, of course, J-Run Curse. All right, jumping over to the Texans, who made some big moves here. They signed Titus Howard, their right tackle, to a 3-year, $56 million deal, 36 in guarantees. And this is a guy that allowed 3 sacks, 5 quarterback hits last season. So that's pretty good numbers for a right tackle. The best pass blocking, at least based on Pro Football Focus and based on Madden ratings, the best pass blocking tackle in the NFL, they say, is Larry Tunsil, who also was signed
This
to a new deal
too.
to a new deal this offseason, 3 years, $75 million, $50 million in guarantees. And remember, they also signed Shaq Mason, 3 years, $36 million. That is Shaquille Olajuwon Mason.
There you go.
To a 3-year, $36 million. So 3 of their 5 starting offensive linemen, they made sure this offseason they took care of. So you do have C.J. Stroud, who signed his deal, his fully guaranteed deal. You'd have all those pieces. These are foundational pieces. I remember you saying, Patrick, you were tired of Nick Caserio signing everybody to these 1-year, 2-year mercenary deals without building for the future. This is it.
No, I mean, and Caserio knows that he is now all in with that trade at the draft.
Yep.
He's all in. It either works or it doesn't. He knows his job is on the
Your
line.
fate is sealed with it.
So
Yeah.
there's no point in making 1 or 2 year deals, because then you're just trying to hand them a blank slate where you go, man, I need to make a plan that they feel they're pot committed with me, and we can all go in this together. But if I give them an out, that everyone's in 2 years, you can be completely wiped away from the Caserio experiment.
Yeah, you don't want that.
You don't want that mindset in there.
You want them committed.
Yeah, so you want, hey man, look at the O line I built for you.
Yeah, no
we
doubt.
got this O line that can be built for years to come, and we can, you have to start making those moves at some point. And I think when D'Amico Ryans came in and them talking about hiring Sean Payton and everything else, he saw the writing on the wall. Was like, all right, it's now you have to crap or get off the pot. This is it.
Yep.
I'm with you on that, and I think for the Texans, it's the right time to do it because now you got your franchise quarterback. Now start building the O-line around him. That's what they're doing. And I think next season in the draft, you're going to see them kind of load up on some skill position guys for their young quarterback.
Yeah,
they'll go after a wide receiver early. Go after a running back relatively early. That means like 4th, 5th round.
Yeah,
like that.
this is definitely one where you
or a tight end.
Yeah, you are looking at basically who you got at wide receiver. How well does Dalton Schultz work out? Is Damian Pierce going to have another good season? You're like, okay, what do we need? Do we need a wide receiver 1, or do we have a wide receiver 1? Do we have a wide receiver 2? Do we have those guys? Do we have guys that we feel we can put in? And then what do we need to go out and get in the draft or in free agency? Unfortunately, the guy you'd really like to get is going to go way before you can get him, which is Marvin Harrison Jr., because and C.J. Stroud play together. He's the best wide receiver, but you trade away your first-round pick next year, so that's not happening. But I think that you can kind of take this season with C.J. Stroud, go, who does he have chemistry with? And then maybe we move off one or two because we have a lot of young wide receivers on the Texans
The
right
wide
now.
receiver room upgraded tremendously.
So, but there's a lot of young guys. So you can say, well, if he doesn't have a good relationship with Tank Dell or with Mechie or with somebody or Noah Brown or somebody like that, you go, okay, we can move off them and bring in somebody else next season. But who do we know that he likes? And we can start building that way up. But I agree with you. I think next season is we got to add in. You got to start getting some off the shoulders of C.J. Stroud. But I think they're also going to start building defensively first because it is DeMeco Ryans' team.
Yeah, it is. But secondary is almost built.
Yeah,
I mean you're close in the secondary, right? I mean you've drafted a lot of pieces early on in that secondary. Hopefully Stingley works out because if it doesn't, that's a disaster.
Man, I believe he will work out.
Jalen Petrie's a star.
Yeah.
Petrie is a star.
Another
really
dude that comes downhill hard too.
Yeah,
he can make plays.
He's unbelievable. He really is. He's a great young.
You feel that you got one of your defensive ends.
Yep.
So I mean, but he may want to take another defensive end. He may want to take a couple linebackers to get in there.
I agree.
But yeah, I have a feeling when you don't have a first round pick next season, wide receiver is either going to be a free agency move to bring in a veteran, or you're going to go ahead and try and take another waiver on a guy in the 4th or 5th round. But those early picks, I feel, are going to have to go to defense because the defense is okay right now. It's not good. It's okay. But I as a head coach, if I was DeMeco Ryans, I'd probably want to build that first and go, I trust this, and then we'll figure it out. But C.J. Stroud's not going to hit his stride until year 3 or 4. So let's build this first, and then when he hits his stride, then we can add some more pieces of the offense.
The defense actually isn't as I don't think it's isn't in bad a shape. If you look at recent success, it isn't as bereft of successful seasons in recent memory than the offense. The offense has been the worst offense in the NFL for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Now, also on the flip side of that,
abysmal.
Yeah, the defense actually has been middle of the road in a lot of different areas where we passed.
That's why they won some games.
Yeah, the defense.
But also,
takeaways, they were top 10 in takeaways.
It's also you've had the guy who coached the defense last year, Lovie Smith, is gone. Also, a lot of those guys were on mercenary deals, so they're not all going to be there in the next coming years. So you still have to build upon it. But I agree with you. Their defense is better than their offense now.
It has been for a while.
So I think you build that defense and try and build up and go, okay, now we have a really good defense. And now let's try and help out the offense. And it depends. If there's a real number one in the free agent market next year for wide receiver where someone becomes available on the trade market, they could go for it next year, but they may wait another year to try and get the right thing to happen or get a number 1 pick that they can go get a guy.
Yeah. I think they should draft a wide receiver. Just draft one that can develop with your young quarterback.
No, I agree, but you're also getting him in the 2nd round next year.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it would be, to me, going to get a free agent wide receiver, considering how much they cost, just go get one in the draft.
Yeah.
There's tons of them out
There's
there.
going to be a plenty in this year's draft for sure. There's going to be a lot.
You get better, your next man.
There's going to be a lot of them.
Plenty of them out there.
Yeah.
Okay, we come back. We'll get into more NFL news, notes, and nuggets a little bit later on in the show. We come back. We got to talk Astros. Go Stros. Another big win over the Rangers. We'll also get into Lionel Messi scoring 2 goals.
Come on, man.
In his last match.
Don't play with that man.
Dude, that is crazy.
Yeah.
He's a man amongst boys out there.
For sure.
We'll get into that. And also the biggest contract, richest contract, I should say, in NBA history. We didn't talk about that yesterday, and I don't think I understand it either. We'll talk about that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn.
trying to sell on my mentor. Yeah, you Charlie. Don't do that no more, man. The first time in life, in history.
All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when Patrick the Ideallionaire plays jams from a certain soundtrack that inspired him. And based on the selections that are played, Harj and I are supposed to gather clues and hints, breadcrumbs that lead us to the featured film of midweek movie music. And I recognize the band. It's Guy. And that has to narrow it down a little bit, Harj.
It definitely
Has to narrow it down to a select few movies. And we already done New Jack City. And Guy's on New Jack City like twice, I believe, on that soundtrack.
It is not New Jack
And
City.
It's not New Jack City. I know, because we already did that one. Wow. Harj, we got to get this one. This black card is on the line here.
I know this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but
go.
I'm gonna throw it out there.
Just go throwing out black movies.
Yeah.
Just go. Just start throwing out black movies. Men's Society. The Boys in the Hood.
No. I'm gonna get
How
you,
to Be a Player.
sucker. I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Nope.
So none of the 12 that Rod just said.
Just keep going. Because I know the kind of movie that the guy's got to be on. Man.
Damn.
Is Damon Wayans in this movie?
I do not believe so.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
what's the name of the movie?
Oh,
Trying to catch you slipping.
we have to get this hard.
Yo,
There's
we
like
do.
Only 3-4 movies they could beat.
Yeah, and
Truth be told.
Chan already is on the line earlier. He was on it yesterday, and now he's on it again.
man.
He said, "Patrick, you got to challenge their black card."
Wow.
Yeah.
That is deep.
Well, it's
right
the last
there.
midweek movie music, so we have to, I had to challenge you one
Yeah.
more time.
Okay. I'm just gonna start thinking of all the black movies.
I mean, there's-
That's
there's-
basically what it is
yeah.
in that certain era too.
Yeah. Wow. Because that beat right there is old school.
It is old school. I can't believe Patrick's doing this to us again. Oh man.
I was gonna say, could it be any given Sunday?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
No way.
Dang it.
Too late. I think we're talking about a certain era here, and it's the guy era.
Yeah.
All right.
It's to be got
And
the
you
guy
know that's
there.
not a
But any given Sunday was in there.
Yeah, maybe on the edge of it, but we're talking about a certain era here, man. We got to get Last Boy Scout.
Didn't we already do that one? I think we did Last Boy Scout at one time, or somebody
I
was
don't
saying
know.
it.
I think-
I heard somebody else's show was doing something about the
Okay.
last one. Chad and Zay actually.
Zay talked
they
about-
did the Last Boy Scout.
All right, that's enough. All right, we'll try to do better next
Dang
time.
it.
That's a good hint, though. That's a nice clue. That's why my man Patrick is the Ideallionaire. Okay, let's talk first about the Astros and the Rangers. Go Astros! Astros with another win over the Rangers, gentlemen, and I do not want to jinx it. Dare I say it, the Astros do have a chance to break out the brooms on the Rangers in this series, but more so than that, they're closing the gap. In that lead, and they had a 2-game lead. Now it is a 1-game lead for the Rangers, and man, the Astros without. And this is probably the most impressive thing about what the Astros are doing right now versus the Rangers. And the Rangers they've had injuries too. Everybody's got injuries, by the way. You're at that point in the season
Any
where
sport, you got it.
yeah, everybody at that point in the season where
Yep.
any sport you're at the midway point like this, everybody's banged up. That's the point of having depth and talented depth on your team. So the Astros now they're 58 wins. And Yordan Alvarez and Jose Altuve have only played 13 games together. 13 of those
Yeah,
games
yeah,
together.
yeah.
You still got Urquidy who's out
Who's
dealing
still
with injury
out?
too.
He's still out. Yep.
So you got a lot of baseball left. And Dana Brown, the new GM of the Astros, did say these are his words. There's a really good chance of Jose Altuve and Yordan Alvarez being in the lineup tonight. Those are his words. Really good chance.
Well, it's a
That
great
could change-
chance
that could
because
change
it's
it.
true.
It's done?
They're already in the lineup
Okay,
today.
done deal.
Yeah, they are both in the lineup today, and obviously they are the engine of this team. They are the backbone of this team. But during this time, when you have guys out, some of your big boppers, you got a lot of chances to see some guys grow up. And that's exactly what we've gotten a chance to see. I talked about Chaz McCormick and what he means. By the way, he got another hit last night, another big hit, and him being able to get that opportunity to play and making the most of it. We talked about Dubon. He's been playing second base. He would normally play the outfield. He'll play shortstop. He'll play wherever he needs to be, but he's been playing really good baseball. So you've had other guys that have had the opportunity to play do good things. So that's a very, very impressive part. Well, now you get a chance to bring in your big boppers. You get a chance to bring in your bats that are more experienced than some of those guys and get a chance. Former MVPs. I mean, think about who they are. These are playoff MVPs and having big hit after big hit.
Difference makers.
And and now they're back, and they're both coming back from the same injury, oblique. They're both dealing with oblique injuries. You remember when you were talking about
I don't like that.
how do all these people get all these weird injuries?
Yeah.
That's another one of those weird injuries
It
because
is.
he's always swinging, you're torquing, you're
true.
doing different things, you're diving, you're sliding. There's so many different things that are going on, but the fact that you're getting those guys back is huge for the Houston Astros. What's bad for the Texas Rangers is that they're getting those guys back in this series right now. And this is a bad, bad time for the Texas Rangers. They've had opportunities. I know a lot of people keep talking about, the umpires, they missed the calls at home plate. They're missing all that. No, they didn't.
You don't think that was a
No.
missed call in the eighth inning?
No, because
Okay.
when you go back and you look at it and you really look at it, he got tagged out at home plate.
Okay.
He got tagged out at home plate. And again, you had a guy make a very strong throw to home plate. If your guy makes a strong throw the night before, you're not arguing about anything. It just so happened their guy made a stronger throw and got him out at home plate.
Yeah, I'll throw in another name when we talk about guys stepping up. Kyle Tucker right now.
Oh, my God. He's an
is
MVP.
playing at another level. He is. If Shohei Ohtani gets traded to the National League, Kyle Tucker enters that conversation.
Yep.
And that's the level he's been playing at. One of the reasons the Astros are a game behind the division lead right now is because Kyle Tucker has basically kept the boat going with Jordan being out for so long, with Altuve being out. He has just been playing out of his mind. He had the catch to end the game last night. He also had a home run in that game. He's been playing out of his mind right now. So when you say if he can continue to play at this pace and then you bring back Jordan, he can play at a level. And I think what you're really looking at is getting to the playoffs. Right now, your playoff lineup, Dubon probably goes out and plays in the outfield. I don't know if he's got the arm, but at least at home, he's got the arm to play over there and put Jordan on the DH or the DH. And that's not a bad lineup because basically the only guy who's not hitting really well right now in that lineup is Maldonado.
And Myers.
But Myers won't be in there.
No,
'Cause
that's what I'm
Chaz is
saying,
playing
like,
center
yeah,
field.
Chaz
I'm saying,
got- yeah.
if you put Dubon out there and Jordan's on the DH,
Yep.
that means Myers isn't in your lineup.
Thank goodness.
Maldonado's there, who did hit a home run last night.
Yep.
Shout out.
I mean, he hit that thing a mile.
Yep.
He put that above the stadium.
Yeah.
The stadium.
Yep.
But so if you say that's the only guy and he has other benefits, that's not a bad lineup to go into the playoffs with. I know I keep hearing Astros fans getting mad because Pena's not playing well enough right now, and then they want to trade Pena, and they want to trade Chaz, and they want to trade. So y'all don't trade starters for starters.
Yep.
That's not how you get better.
Yep.
You
gotta
saw this with the
provide
Mavericks.
depth.
They traded two good players for one, and they were not a better team for it. So don't trade starters for starters. There is some guys in their farm system. If they make a move, I feel if I'm the Rangers right now, though, I really got to make a move at the trade deadline.
definitely
And I don't
do.
know if the Astros are going to do much. They may pull off a little bit because of the series.
That's a great point because now looking at kind of the barometer and you're getting Harsh talked about your force multipliers coming back to the lineup. And right now you feel like you're playing well, and you got some guys that are just having career years right now. Chaz McCormick we talked about, and you just brought up Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker's batting 305 right now.
Let me give you a little background on my man Kyle Tucker.
11-game hitting streak right now.
He is one of the only players in AAA history to have a 30-30. He was a 30-30 in Round Rock.
Yeah.
And he was a guy that was always, everybody called for him, and they were like, don't call to ask us to trade anybody, especially if it has Kyle Tucker involved in it. You can do anything else, but don't call this team to ask about Kyle Tucker because Kyle Tucker is the no-trade list.
Wow.
He's been on that list for quite some time. And I remember he was here in Round Rock, and I remember watching him play, and dude don't wear no batting gloves.
He's wearing them now.
He's
He
like
didn't used to.
awkward, and I'm like, my goodness. But then you watch him go out there and take batting practice. You remember what we talk about? There's a certain sound that comes off that bat, and it was whiplash every single time he hit the ball. And I was like, dang, this dude is good.
Yeah.
And he is.
boy's good.
Yeah, that boy
They were
good.
saying a funny story of when Kyle Tucker was coming up, and they were making a documentary about Ted Williams, and they were like, we need somebody who kind of looks like Ted for like just kind of shots around, someone who kind of swings like him and does it. And they're like, Kyle Tucker.
That's wild.
And so they were like, dude, if you look at those two swings together, he swings a lot like Ted Williams, and that is not a guy this guy you're pretty happy to be compared to. Not off the field, but on the field, you are pretty happy to be compared to him, a 400 hitter. So when you watch what he does, they're like, yeah, I mean, he didn't look like a baseball player at the beginning, but then when you hear the comparisons, like he did look like Ted Williams, who didn't look like a baseball player. Maybe it'll work out.
And he can find that barrel anytime he wants to. He's been very, very clutch. He's impressive. He plays good defense. You talked about the robbery of the home run, and he makes the right play all the time.
Question is, will Kyle Tucker have his body and head frozen for cryogenic reasons?
No.
Hey,
Not yet. Not yet.
hey, Astros, if you need to work that in the contract to re-sign him,
Just
fine.
said. Isn't Ted Williams? Is he still
That
frozen
was
in
the rumor. It
cryogenics?
was a rumor. I don't know if it was ever confirmed.
I think it actually is confirmed that it was in cryogenics. I don't know if it's still there.
I know they tried to do it. I don't know if it was ever successful that they did it. Let's put
I
it that
think
way.
they did it. I think they did it. They just I don't know if they can reanimate it and all that.
Yeah.
No, that's in later. But I do believe it is supposed to be frozen cryogenically already.
And I know the one thing that we haven't had a chance to talk about because we've been talking Astros on this side, but I want to talk about the Texas Rangers and where they are as a baseball team right now. They've got to make some adjustments. This game has gone back and forth, and to Patrick's point about making moves, and if you think you need to, this is the time that they need to make the move because their pitching staff is a little bit shaky right now. Every time you go to the bullpen, you're not sure of what you're going to get. You're bringing guys up from AAA, getting them down from AAA. You're making all these different moves, but you haven't built any consistency in that middle reliever. We saw when Chapman, Aroldis Chapman came in. He came in earlier in that game the other night, and now you're trying to figure out, okay, who's going to be our back-end guy? Sometimes you got to find a guy that can come in and stretch some of those innings out when the starter isn't able to go. We know that these guys have been working hard. They got a good offensive team. They need Corey Seager back as well. Corey Seager is a major part of their offense. It messes up the integrity of their lineup when Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, and all these other guys are out for whatever reason. You're putting in different pieces to try to fill those void, and everybody can't fill those void, especially when you look at Seager. He's an all-star. He's a big part of their success. He hits a lot of home runs. He drives guys in. But most importantly, he shores up your infield. Ezekiel Duran has made a couple errors at shortstop. He's not your natural shortstop. He's a guy that can play all over the field. But you want a guy that when the routine play needs to be made, you need a veteran to be there to do so. So there's a lot that the Rangers – it's a different conversation than what we were having a couple weeks ago.
It is.
Now we're getting to the thick of it. And we did say this is where the Astros – they've been here. The Rangers are starting to try to make this part of their DNA as well. The Astros are who they are. They're used to this kind of stuff. That's why you never see any panic from Dusty, even though I've been questioning him not putting Chaz in the lineup. But now Chaz is like, bruh, you're going to have to play me.
Yeah, but like I said, you can question that, but then
Keep winning.
Are the tactics by Dusty Baker one of the reasons why Chaz is having a career year?
You know what I think it is? I think it's the guys around Chaz that is helping Chaz. I think the guys talking to him, the guys that are spending time with him and making him more focused on the baseball game. I'm not saying he wasn't focused on it, but I think you know as well as I do, there's sometimes that the coaches may be trying to do something and you ain't buying into it, but there's a guy like Rod B coming to talk to me and say, hey, man, this is what he's trying to do. do this, and things will start changing for you.
I know, but
there's still some tactics
That's
to
the
it.
good cop, bad cop
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
everybody wants to get on back. Dusty's like, Dusty doesn't care.
Oh,
As
I'm
long
a
as
big fan of Dusty.
As long as his players are playing well, that's his job as a manager and a coach. Like,
Yeah.
my guys are playing well. And y'all want the guys to play more, but maybe this is part of his plan.
Yeah.
Just kind of roll it out slowly. But either way, Chaz McCormick is playing.
Chaz
extremely.
is balling.
Yeah, he is. Okay, somebody else that's balling. Lionel Messi's balling, gentlemen. Last night, Inter Miami beat Atlanta United 4-0. Man, Messi scored 2 goals
Mm-hmm.
And had an assist, right?
and had an assist. So he's got 3 goals and 1 assist in 2 games for Inter Miami. Guys, he's only played 58 minutes for Inter Miami. And he's already scored 3 goals, including 2 in those 22 minutes he played last night. It took him 444 minutes to score 3 goals with PSG and 741 minutes to do it with Barcelona. But now he already has 3 goals in 2 matches. It took him 19 matches to reach 3 goals with Barcelona, 6 matches to reach 3 goals with PSG. He's already basically made Inter Miami one of the best teams in the MLS and maybe the best team in MLS just with his presence alone.
Absolutely.
He's that
and
damn
we
good.
knew this was going to happen because
Wow.
the level of play in the MLS compared to overseas is totally different. That's why they have the Premier League. That's why they have the Champions. That's why they have all these different leagues over there where it's a little bit difficult. You just said how long it's been taking them. I asked my family last night, I said, we've talked about Messi before. What is he going to do? He said he is going to set records that have never been set in this league because he's that much better than
Yeah, this
everybody.
is like LeBron James playing in the G League. Like he's gonna,
It's just going to be so different.
Patrick Mahomes going to
Yeah.
the XFL. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to dominate.
Yeah, but he got to have some dominant people with him.
That
Because
is
Patrick
true.
Mahomes can be able to ball out, but them dudes can't catch them sidearm passes. You got to have some ballers with you. He's got a couple guys that he brought. There's some other guys that are coming over too. The league is about to change because a lot of these guys now are looking at MLS and saying, you know what? Let's go over here and play and then raise the level of the league. You already seen the impact. Tickets are $10,000 to try to go in there. He can go in a grocery store, but he can't walk on a soccer field. You know what I'm saying? So this is a huge, huge get for the MLS, for Inter Miami, but most importantly, Messi's about to change the way people are watching MLS soccer.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
so
wild.
impressed with it.
It is. It's impressive. Yeah, no, he's definitely. You're right. Putting MLS soccer on a different stage and platform internationally, and even for those here in the States, of course, too. All right, we come back. We'll get into a little flex. The All Flex watch list continues to be revealed, and we'll discuss that on the other side, right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Austin is a beautiful city, and we all know that. That's why we all call it home. One of the reasons for its beautiful, unique aesthetic appeal, it's the skilled craftsmanship of our friends over at Ironworkers Local 482. They've been helping shape Greater Austin since 1935, and you see the labors of their love all over this great city in iconic, exquisite landmarks like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And as the city continues to grow and thrive, so do our good friends at Ironworkers Local Union 482. They don't go to the office. They're the ones building the office. So if you're looking for an exciting new career, maybe you're frustrated with your work choices, maybe you want to feel like a valued member of a great team, well, you can become a valued member of this prestigious organization, Ironworkers Local 482, and accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape our city's economic development. Right now, they're hiring 3,000 people, and you can become one of these lucky people and become a member of Ironworkers Local 482 and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. Maximize your potential and be your best self today. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn, midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when Patrick, inspired by a certain movie soundtrack, plays those selections for us, and based on the selections that are played, Harge and I are supposed to gather clues and hints that lead us to the featured film of midweek movie music. Wow. I know it's not something like White Men Can't Jump or anything
Nope.
like that.
Nope.
Because we already did that. Wow, this is so obvious. I'm
Trying
so
to hear
upset.
this one.
Is that Left Eye?
Yep.
Like, I know all the artists, I know the songs. I just can't.
I'm gonna say it's House Party.
That's good.
No.
That's a great guess.
I mean, they're all good guesses. I mean,
That's the best guess we've had so far, Harsh. That's money. That is good. That's good.
Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee.
I know.
Bow, wow, yippee,
We're gonna
yo,
be
yippee.
so upset with ourselves.
I
when
am already
this
angry.
reveals.
I'm already angry because he
I'm
really
already
is
angry.
He really is challenging us today.
I know. And I've seen this movie because
I know we've
I
seen
can
it.
hear all the songs in a very familiar way. And like, I'm gonna be so upset. My black card is gonna get canceled again.
I know, and I'm going with you.
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, you
Yeah.
go with me too.
Yeah.
And we've named a lot.
We've done a lot of music videos.
I cannot believe we cannot get this.
I can't either.
Okay, let's get to the All Flex watch list. The defensive backs. Hopefully, we can do better here. The reveal, the All Flex watch list for the DBs. I like this group. Alex Foster, I call him kind of the defensive equivalent of a Terminator out there, man. He's all over the place. The Vandergrift defensive back, who is currently committed.
Air Force.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Cashton LaPlante from Hutto. Denham Collins of Westlake, also a corner, good player. Josiah Estes of Lake Travis, also another really good corner. Judson Crockett of Westlake. Westlake got two of them on here. Caden Cook of Stony Point. Cameron Green of McNeil. McNeil also represented with two of them. They got Keegan McBride as well. Leonard Moore, who I think is the best corner in Central Texas. He is committed to Notre Dame currently. Matthew Arnett, Buda Johnson. Peyton Morgan, who I think might be, along with Alex Foster, might be talking about the best safety in the flex area. And is he Texas Tech?
Texas Tech commit.
Yeah, I know that. That's happened a few weeks ago. And Shane Warner, and by the way, Peyton Morgan from Pflugerville Weiss.
Yep.
And Shane Werner from Stony Point.
Yep.
Also makes the team.
And
for the
it's-
DBs.
it's-
or it's all flex watch list, excuse me.
Yeah, we only have a couple guys that are not in the class of 24, just a couple that are in 25. So they
Yeah,
got
that's pretty
one
big
more
time.
year. That's big time.
That is.
And Caden Cook is the younger brother of
Cameron Cook?
Cameron Cook that went to
Oh,
Texas Tech.
I would say-
went to TCU.
We met him. We met
We
them.
did. He was here.
Okay, yes. Yes. Okay.
I used to give him lessons.
You can Coach Harge.
Yeah.
The linebackers for the All Flex watch list have also been revealed. Ben Boer, is it Boer?
That looks about
Maybe
right.
Boer. But if Vandergrift, hit me up with the phonetic spelling if you want to. 512-337-3776. Bobby Holland from McNeil. Caius Coy from Westwood. Darius Holiday from Elgin. Landry Leggett of Georgetown, or Leggett from Georgetown. Luca Picucci. Is it Picucci? Yeah, I think so. Tripping Springs. Marcus Boswell of Lake Travis. Preston Welton of Rouse. Reed Vines of Cedar Park. And Will Peeler of Austin High are your linebackers to make the all-flex watch list. You have receivers and running backs, kinfolk, tomorrow, and then the quarterbacks on Friday. So shout out to the all-flex crew helping out with the all-flex watch list. Go to FLXATX.com, FLXATX on all your social media platforms.
No doubt.
To catch up with them there. All right, we come back. We'll get into some Texas football discussion. Expectations sky high. Another national analyst puts Texas at 11 wins for the 2023 season. We'll discuss that. We'll give our predictions on who are going to be the breakout performers for Texas this year. Last year was Jalen Ford, broke out, had a great season last season. I think JT Sanders probably among those breakout performers last year for Texas. Who will be the breakout performers this year? We'll discuss that. Also, we'll talk about the newcomers expected to earn playing time in Big 12 travel mileage. What teams are traveling the most in this new look Big 12?
Ridiculous.
All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back. Right, Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Just trying to figure out what the midweek movie music is. A little frustrated with that, but that's okay. One thing that relieves my frustration as soon as I get home, I'll decompress after a long, hard day by popping the top on a nice ice cold Bud Light. My go-to beer for any occasion, really, especially those Longhorn tailgates on Saturdays and those NFL Sundays. So whether I'm trying to toast and cheers to a brighter tomorrow or drown my sorrows, it's always a reason to break out the Bud Light. Perfect beer for any occasions and the sure sign of a good time, so it will turn those good times into great times, and the rest of the times, they just seem like the best of times. I've been drinking Bud Light for a really long time, ever since my days on the 40 acres in the NFL, and even now, just to reward myself after a day of hard work or just to decompress after a long, hard day. Never a bad idea to pop the top on a nice ice-cold Bud Light. Be the life of the party and bring more Bud Light to the party. Bud Light, brewed deep in the heart of Texas, by Texans, for Texans, and proud of it. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when Patrick plays jams from a certain soundtrack that inspired him, and based on these selections that are played, Harge now supposed to gather clues and hints that lead us to the featured film of midweek movie music. And Harge got it, and then we discussed it, and now it's confirmed. Boomerang. It's a jam.
Is that it?
It is Boomerang.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Good job.
You
Good job,
guys,
Harge.
you guys got to keep your black
Good job,
card.
Harge.
Yeah,
Well
like
done.
Chan, you
And
can't
Bob-
be messing with us now, man.
Well, and I ain't gonna lie, the soundtrack, I own the soundtrack.
No,
That's
and
the
this
crazy
is
part
why.
about it.
That's
So-
why he kept saying, we seen the
I know,
movie.
yeah, I owned it for a long time. Like, Isn't that a road on the soundtrack?
It is. There's a lot of good, but no,
There's
the
a lot
whole
of
thing
great
is we had
songs.
talked about this multiple times throughout midweek movie music was bringing up Boomerang's soundtrack.
Yes.
And I never played it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, we got one left. I'll throw this on. And it's kind of a softball because I know they've mentioned it so many times.
Well, and that's why Harge thought we had already had it. Harge
Yeah.
kept saying, he's like,
Yeah.
we did it already. And I was like, no, we didn't do it.
Nope.
We've talked about it a
We have
ton,
talked about it a
but we
lot.
never did it. That's why
Yeah.
Harge was confused about what it is. So Harge might have got a little bit earlier, but
Yeah.
I think he was thinking we did Boomerang.
Yeah.
Boomerang is a great soundtrack, actually one of the few soundtracks I do own. And it is fitting. End of the Road is on it. And we have reached the end of the road.
And
So
ding,
there you go.
ding.
Great
Yep.
stuff. I love it. Great stuff. And by
job.
the way, I'm not gonna lie, Boomerang might be the most underrated rom-com in history. It's up there. It's a very underrated rom-com. Very underrated. Like nobody brings it up when they talk about it. It is easily Eddie Murphy's best rom-com, in my
Right.
opinion. Like it's his. It was honestly might be his only rom-com.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a lot of rom-coms. Now you think about it. Like Eddie, it might
No,
be,
Eddie.
this
Well,
is- this is-
Nutty
this-
Professor. He did
I don't, I
that.
don't know if it's considered a rom-com as much as a comedy. I guess you could throw it in there. It's more of a comedy, a straight-up comedy than a rom-com. But you could throw it in that category. if you want to.
Vampire in Brooklyn. I mean,
God,
yeah.
that's like sci-fi. To
What's
me.
the one? Daddy Daycare.
Yeah, like those are like just like pure comedies more so than rom-coms.
Yeah, the rom com, because this movie poster, it's him and two women.
Yeah,
Which means it's like, all right, there's not the secondary
Yes.
male
Yeah,
lead.
yeah.
It's all female driven,
Yes,
and then him.
Robin Givens in her prime, Holly Berry in her
In her
prime.
prime.
This was his. I want
That's
to
when
say
Holly Berry was at spring training with me. Woof.
Yeah, Holly. Yeah, well, she's still impressive. That's
Very.
With
She's
me,
aged
he says.
well.
She's
He
aged
says
well.
with me. Like she
yeah.
came just spring training is hard. Is this where hard is at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually sitting in the bleachers.
Yeah,
Admiring.
So you
because I
were-
wasn't in big league camp game that day. I was there watching the Braves,
So-
and I knew she was gonna be
So you
there.
and how many other people was she there for?
There was probably about 7,000.
Just to be clear,
just so we
Oh,
know.
no, that's when
Yeah.
Halle Berry was there at spring training with me.
That was the David Justice
Yeah,
years.
Hey man, oh yes, that's right. Yeah, no, that's the crazy thing about it. That movie, like I said, it might have been Eddie Murphy's only swing at a rom com, and honestly, I think he hit a home run his only time attempting a rom com.
Norbit's not a rom com.
No. What's her name? Bro, she's what was her
Disgusting.
name?
I'm just saying that's a love story. Rom com. It's terrible.
Wait, comedy.
It's terrible.
Norbit.
Well, if I haven't
I'm
watched.
just saying if he is a swinging hit,
I-
he is at his.
I ain't gonna. I watched Norbit I think once and maybe didn't watch the whole thing. So I'm not really sure. Is this an alien one where he's like a weird one?
No,
That's
no.
with the big girl.
Is this the
That's
He's a
Lucretia
dork.
or whatever her name was.
Norbit is the one where he's like a geek and a nerd?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he wears the
Yes.
glasses? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he made some really
What's
bad movies,
what's the
man.
one with Steve Martin? Where he was supposed
Oh,
to be
and
an
Queen
actor, and they
Latifah,
just kept running and making scenes where they weren't even making like real movies. It was like a gosh, what
was
was
he
it
a
called?
hustler on that one?
No, they picked him because of that. Dang it, let me see. I'll find it for you.
Bowfinger.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, that's terrible
That
too.
was terrible.
Bowfinger? Oh, that's
Bowfinger.
so
That's
bad.
It. That's it.
Yeah, so bad. Yeah, somebody said Coming to America. I think Coming to America is more of a straight comedy than rom-comish, but you could throw it in that. You can throw it in rom-com if you want to.
Yeah.
I think Boomerang was like straight rom-com for him. Like that was the intention of it. I think Coming to America is like one of my all-time favorite comedies. It might be my all-time favorite comedy.
Well,
So-
because he plays so many different characters and he brings out so many
Yeah,
different things.
and that's
He
why I
got
said
his own money.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I said it falls under more comedy to me than rom-com because it's like exactly right. He goes in all the different characters. You really do get the full complement of his comedic skill set. He's just playing the playboy guy in Boomerang. He's a womanizer, philandering, and then ultimately the plot is that that's turned upside down on him. So like kind of straight up rom-com. Where other movies kind of fall into that category unintentionally.
Yes. Yeah.
By accident. That's what I say. Boomerang, great movie. Love it. That's actually one of the few movies. That's one of the movies that makes my list of movies I would watch with women I was dating back in the day.
Right.
Like they hadn't seen it. Like, oh, you ain't seen that? Oh, watch Boomerang real quick. Because it's a nice little rom-com to put them in the mood. That like Love Jones. We should did Love Jones for Midweek Movie Music. That was a good soundtrack too.
Yep, that was.
Love Jones is pretty damn good.
Well, just we'll text each other doing that.
We'll text each other next Wednesday and be like, hey, man, that Love Jones soundtrack is nice. Yeah, how about that?
Patrick just send us music each segment, looking at the times
So
and talk
you-
about, hey man, it's 3:30. Let me
YouTube
send
clips.
it.
Right. Boom, there you go. New song.
Just drive by your house with a stereo blaring.
Patrick actually lives close enough to me where he can do that too.
Y'all FaceTime me. Y'all make sure y'all FaceTime me.
Time orange on that one. Oh man. Oh, that's good stuff. Okay. 512-337-3776. That's the number to the Specs text line. Harsh, what you got coming up for the people on Harsh Knock Light?
We talked about it yesterday. We had a lot of people asking about Dylan Campbell. He finally signed his contract. Dylan is already on the baseball field. He's already working. So we're going to have his father, Donovan Campbell, come on with us, talk about the experience. His father, too, was drafted by the Atlanta Braves when he was coming out of Texas Southern.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He knows baseball
Ooh.
very, very well.
Okay.
And so we're going to get a chance to chop it up with him and let him tell his story about the University of Texas, the conversation he had with Dylan when he was batting 169 and trying to figure out what was happening with baseball. So it's going to be a good conversation. Donovan's one of the real good brothers that was out there teaching his kid baseball.
Yeah, and excited for that family, too, embarking on their next journey.
No doubt.
In the majors. So I'm excited about that conversation. There'll be Harsh Knock Life coming up next. You had a really impressive string of guests in Harsh Knock Life the last few weeks, so I'd encourage everybody who missed any of those to go to the podcast page, go to hornfm.com. You can catch up with all those old Harsh Knock Life's episodes.
No doubt.
Up at the podcast page at hornfm.com. All right, let's talk Texas football, gentlemen. We know the expectations are sky high. Texas picked to win the Big 12 by the media poll for the first time since 2009. Been a really long time since they did that. And, of course, Texas getting a lot of love nationally this year, predicting that Texas will and should win the Big 12. Well, Greg McElroy, who is actually a fan of Sark, but the former Alabama quarterback, he actually had Sark on his show, I believe, multiple times, actually. He does an always college football podcast. He's a big fan of Steve Sarkisian. He made a grand prognostication about Texas and what he believes Texas is capable of in 2023. Here's Greg McElroy.
The Texas Longhorns, they come in at 9.5. I'm taking the over, 9.5. I think about where they were last year, how close they were in so many games. Lost 5 games last year, all by 1 score. Rice, I think that's a win. They go on the road to Alabama. I think Bama gets this one. Wyoming at home, they get that one. At Baylor, I think that's one they can get. Kansas at home, I think they get them. They got them last year. Oklahoma, game will be a lot closer than it was last year, but I still like where Texas's roster is at this point relative to the Sooners. At Houston, they get that win. BYU at home, I think they get that win. Kansas State at home. They took care of Kansas State last year. I think they'll do so again. At TCU, I'm expecting a slight regression from TCU. Iowa State, I think they get that one, and they get Texas Tech at home. Revenge is a dish best served cold. I think Texas has had that one circled because they let one off the hook last year with the Bijan Robinson fumble late in the year. I really think this team is a 10-win football team. That's the floor.
All right, there you go. He's taking the over. I think we all took the over, but I like to play the national analysts out there just to show that we're not totally in the burnt orange bubble when it comes to Texas. He's got him at 11 wins. I just want to get, I think, double-digit wins is the real.
That's all I'm looking for.
Get to double digits. All right, and like I said, some people say, "Hey, man, that's got to be in the regular season." Well, as long as he double-digit win. Situation for Texas, however it materializes, it leads to them in a Big 12 title. And I always said, I don't even need them to win the Big 12 title. I need you to be playing for it. Playing for a championship. It'd be nice if you can win it, but playing for a championship, double-digit wins, to me, that's realistic for Texas, considering the trajectory that they're on right now.
Right.
And I think everybody's in that category. I love the opportunity this season presents for Steve Sarkisian. Because basically this season will leave no doubt for the Sark believers and the Sark haters. And you're either a Sark believer or a Sark hater. You're not in between. You're not on the fence.
Right.
Either you're a Sark believer who believes it's a matter of time before Steve Sarkisian reaches a mountaintop and proves to the world that he is a great coach. And it's only inevitable that he's going to be a championship coach. Or you're on the camp of, man, he is what he is.
Yep.
He's a coach that doesn't win double-digit games. He can only take you so far. He's not a championship coach. He doesn't make the championship adjustments in the game. And the fact that y'all thought that he was going to be a championship coach, honestly, that's a yo problem. That's you problem. Because the fact of the matter is the history would suggest that he has never been that coach.
Right, and that's what the numbers tell you.
That's what
the numbers are telling you that. We talk about the analytics all the time. The analytics say, hey, man, you ain't winning those games, so we can't put you in that category. We can put you in a coordinator, as they always talk about. You can call up some plays, you can scheme it up, but you're not winning all those games. But I'm in the group that is saying he's about to jump over that wall. He is at that point. He's got the team. I love the confidence in which everybody is talking at this point. Even Coach Sark is being able to feel confident every time when he walks up to that podium. I'm not saying he wasn't confident before, but he wasn't as confident. He wasn't sure of the team that he had yet because he hadn't been around them. He hadn't had time to develop them. He hadn't had a time to walk down the hall, get into their minds, and find out who they are as individuals. It's been a process. He's got a chance to go out there and get the guys that he's been looking for. He's got the athletes that he's looking for. You can't tell me that room doesn't excite you at the wide receiver position. That thing got me juiced up. I love the quarterback room. We got to go out there and play. We all understand that. But on paper, it gets you kind of geeked up to see exactly what's going to happen, the possibility of it.
Yeah.
I'm all in on it. I'm on that other side of the fence. I believe this is the time where Sark starts to ascend into that level of being that coach that everybody's talking about, not on the negative side, on the positive side. And we've talked about his recruiting. That had never been the problem. He's been able to bring the goods to the 40 acres. Now let's see if the cake is baked or is it mush?
That is true. Yeah. No, for Sark, I think for him this year, at least for Texas, the big issue will be the second half and the fourth quarters of games. I pointed out this stat earlier this month, but Texas outscored their opponents by 179 points in the first three quarters of the games. But if you look at fourth quarter and overtime, Texas actually was outscored by 12 points in the fourth quarter and overtime. That's what we need to see from Sark. They need to see them winning fourth quarters, championship adjustments, and counters by Sark trying to win the chess match within the game by outwitting the opposing coach. That's what they're going to have to see from Sark. Texas failed to outscore their opponents in the fourth quarter in 8 of the 13 games, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? And they lost 5 games. And they lost 5 games, and they failed to outscore. They failed to outscore their opponents, or they didn't outscore them. Sometimes it was just tied 0-0, whatever. But they failed to outscore them in 4 of those 5 losses in the fourth quarter.
And that's going to be the biggest part. That's what we've talked about numerous times. We've talked about it from day one. How are you going to finish games? We've seen you start great. Where's the end product? Can you get your guys in position to make sure that they are closing the gap in the fourth quarter? That's the amazing part, and that's where the finish line is. Sometimes I'm much rather them to start slow, stay in the mix, and then finish strong at the end of the race. That's what I want to see. I want to see them be able to close out those fourth quarter games. You've had the opportunity. He said it. You brought it up too, but they said it. 5 games you lost by 1 possession. That's huge. That's the difference in you playing in the playoffs and not. I mean, that's your opportunity of playing for the Big 12 or not. This is the time for you to show that. And I'm on the side of let's go, Sark. You got it, man.
2-5 in one-score games last season. That's also got to improve. Losses to Bama, Tech, Oklahoma State, close by a combined 12 points. So that's good. You're close. But 2-5 in one-score games, you need to flip that. You should be 5-2. In one-score games. And you also go look at it, Texas, in the fourth quarter, they just either winning those fourth quarters or finding a way to not get outscored in the fourth quarter. They got outscored in the fourth quarter against Oklahoma State. Against Tech, they were outscored in the fourth quarter. Against Bama, they were outscored in the fourth quarter. And against TCU, it was a push. They, 0. So I think for Texas, that's where they got to get to.
Yeah. Got to do it quick. They got to get there.
Yeah.
They got to get there quick. And you're going to have that opportunity. And that's why I believe that everyone on the Specs text line, they're looking at it and saying, I will not drink the Kool-Aid. I will not drink the Kool-Aid. And then there's some like, activated. The Kool-Aid is activated. I'm putting all the sugar in there. You want to be on that side of success. And I believe that this year, and I know that the players, that's the other part of it. Sometimes when we look at each other in the locker room, we obviously know, man, we got to change something if you're really about that life.
If you are.
What do you always say? There are some that want to play at Texas and some that want to play for Texas. So those guys that want to play for Texas are the ones that are staying a little bit longer. They're watching a little bit more for him. They're bringing those other guys in there, like a Jordan Whittington talking about, man, I'm here because I want to win. All I've done in my life is won. The same thing with Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers changing his ways of going about things, changed his body, changed his habit. We still got to see him go on the field and make sure that footwork is cleaned up. But now is the time that if you're going to drink the Kool-Aid, this is the time to do it. Because after a while, you're going to be like, man, why am I drinking that stuff? It's sour.
Remember, you don't know if it's Kool-Aid or Flavor Aid
Until that product's done.
That first loss.
Yeah.
And then you go, and then you can start looking at it. And Texas didn't know it was Flavor Aid last year until you lost to Tech, and you figured out, oh, damn, this actually is not the Kool-Aid. No.
Okay.
So you won't know. Right now, everybody's happy drinking the Kool-Aid and good because you think it's Kool-Aid, but turns out it might start tasting kind of funny.
Got that flavor.
Midway through the season, you realize, oh, this ain't Kool-Aid at all. It's Flavor Aid. We drank the wrong stuff. The last time Texas fans drank the Kool-Aid, it actually was the Kool-Aid, was probably 2009. Because remember, 2018, early on, y'all stopped drinking the Kool-Aid. It was Flavor Aid, remember?
Yep.
And they lose early on in the season in 2018 and
remember.
struggle early on, and then as a team, they found their way. So a lot of Longhorn fans were skeptical, had a lot of cautious optimism at that time. So you weren't jugging the Kool-Aid back then. You weren't chugging the Kool-Aid.
I was not.
2009, you were picked to win the Big 12 in 2009 by the media. You had one of the best teams in the country coming back. Everybody was chugging that Kool-Aid. And it turned out it was Kool-Aid. It wasn't Flavor Aid.
It was not.
There's been a lot of Flavor Aids sipping and drinking around here for the last 12 years or so. And, yeah.
That's why it's a problem.
Yeah,
That's the
why it's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, you brought it to my attention, Harge, and we'll get into it and dive deeper, obviously, as more details come out about this. But Pete Thamel, he is reporting, he has sources telling him that Colorado is in discussions about a move to the Big 12, and the school has just completed a board meeting and scheduled another meeting for tomorrow to discuss the move. The Big 12 is also holding a president's meeting tonight, where there's expected to be an expansion update. Yeah, I mean, that's not surprising at all.
Yeah, we had talked about this for a while, thinking about the teams that would possibly come into the Big 12. We talked about Yormark talking to all these other people, not really making any announcements. And then you look at what hasn't been done in the Pac-12. They just had Pac-12 media days, and they didn't even talk about their media rights during that time because he didn't have an answer. Yeah,
he didn't have a good update,
and you're not even addressing it to the people. So the people are looking at you side eyes, and that's the reason why your pride and joy of Deion Sanders in Colorado. And I'm not saying that they're going to win the whole thing. I'm talking about just the fact that they're going to put a lot of people on TV.
Yes,
the TV wants them on because. Like anything else in this world, everybody wants to see somebody fail. It's just national TV. They were like, yep, we're going to build them up, but we're going to try to tear them down.
That's true.
So let's make sure we get them on TV as much as we can because somebody is going to view it for one reason or another. And the fact that they are now about to lose that, you're just about to lose USC and UCLA. What more do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I
Oregon's your squad now, right?
Washington and Oregon are kind of their crown jewels right now. I don't know what Stanford, because
Stanford don't know what they're doing either.
Yeah, you're right. Basketball, good point.
Arizona's in basketball.
But they're another one of those teams that we're probably going to see a conversation come up here soon.
Oh, I agree.
About them leaving and possibly going to the Big 12.
It wasn't Pac-12 Media Days. It was Pac-12 Media Day.
Yeah, my bad. I misspoke.
I couldn't afford to rent the room for 2 days. I mean, if you don't want to seem like the smaller brand, don't let yourself be the smaller brand.
Ding, ding. You created that smaller brand. I get it's
silly and stupid, but you have 12 teams and you can't fill up 2 days worth of stuff. Is that because you don't want anybody to look what's happening over there?
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's exactly it.
Hey, man, go talk to him for 5 minutes and then we'll move on. Talk to him for 5 minutes and we'll move. No. Spread it out. Make yourself seem big.
Yep.
And I'll say, you got to give a lot of credit to Brett Yormark because, guys, at one point, I don't know how long ago, hell, what are we talking about, maybe a year ago, around this time, maybe a little over a year ago, we're thinking the Pac-12 and the Big 12 are in very similar situations.
Right.
And very it's
not even close now.
Right, exactly.
Not even close.
Both conferences were desperate. Mm-hmm. Expansion was inevitable, but also necessary for a survival. Mm-hmm. And we were pretty sure there was going to be one or the other. Like both the Big 12 and the Pac-12 were not going to survive.
Right.
All right. There's just not enough broadcast money for it. Just not enough room for both of them to be considered power conferences and survive. And Brett Yormark comes in. Kliavkoff actually had, to me, he had a little bit of an advantage because he had been there longer. Mm-hmm. He had, he had more ties, more connections, more allegiances, had built up more relationships. Brett Yormark comes in and immediately, thinking outside the box, turns the Big 12 into what some people are now saying is a right now not only a profitable league because you got the broadcast.
You got the
broadcast deal done.
Yes.
He came in less than a year.
Yep.
And got the broadcast deal done and expanded
Like
the
that.
profile, of the Big 12 and shifted the narrative.
Yep.
Changed the narrative completely. What they say, if you don't like what people are saying, change the conversation. He changed the conversation about the Big 12.
Big time.
Almost within like 6 months. Nobody's even talking about the Big 12 being in danger anymore. No.
Right. It ain't even part of the conversation.
It's stable now. It's stabilized.
Yeah, and they're going to try to bring in Connecticut for the other side of it.
Yeah, for
I mean,
basketball.
they're making moves.
They making moves.
Yeah.
Man, y'all Marquise. Yeah, I'm with you. That is.
I am the chosen one.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's a great example of Brett Yarmark coming in and immediately having an impact because it was kind of a race between those two teams to see which one could stabilize the quickest. The Big 12 did in a year.
Yeah.
And if they get Colorado, to me, that's check. And then you get one more team from the Pac-12, and that's mate.
Yep.
That's checkmate.
Yeah.
It's done.
And it's gonna be Arizona, I would think. I would think it would be Arizona.
Now, I think they wanted both of the Arizonas.
Well, yeah,
It
I mean,
still
like,
might happen.
They
and
get two of those
wait.
and get another 4 of them.
And then we heard the story about San Diego State was going to go to the Pac-12, and then they're reconsidering going to the Pac-12. Like, so now even teams that they were lowering themselves to go get
They were
in
dumpster
their
diving.
eyes are like, nah, we're good.
Yeah, they were slumming to go get it. Like, nah, I
Yeah.
don't want you. No.
Yeah,
I'm
they're like,
gonna
no,
keep
you
it
ain't
moving.
subbing to come get us.
No, and it's, you know what? And you're right. This is all about leadership, man. And
It
I go
is,
back
100%.
to Bob Bosley. I know we got Donovan, so I'll be quick here. We'll get into this a little bit later on in Raj after that. We'll just kind of bump stuff and get into it. But Kliavkoff at Pac-12 Media Days, this is what he was on the record for saying, guys. He's basically saying that the Pac-12, the longer that they wait for the media deal, the better the options will be. This is something he's on the record for saying. I'm not making it up.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. I mean, this dude he needs to be fired.
That talk about being lost.
Yes. This is your Bob Bowlesby moment.
That's exactly what it is.
This
Remember,
is
Bob
Bob
Bowlesby,
Bowlesby's moment.
at the second to last Big 12 Media Days he attended, he said that expansion was unnecessary and was no longer on the table. Yet, behind his back, at the time, Texas and Oklahoma are plotting with Greg Sankey to leave the Big 12 and expand the SEC. And he's like, nobody's talking about expansion. No, you're not talking about expansion, Bowlesby. And this is happening with Kliavkoff.
Yep.
He's delusional.
He's a hey man, I could pay you back the 20 today, but if you let me hold on to that 20, I'll get you 40 in 2 weeks. And they're like, and
I'ma
then come back in
flip
2
that
weeks, he's
for
like,
you.
I spent the 20.
Yeah.
Well, and he says, I think the realignment that's going on in college athletics will come to an end for this cycle. Nope.
Maybe for you.
Exactly.
Maybe for you.
Yeah, this is wait. How? Oh
Hey,
man,
my
how out
phone-
of touch are you?
So that's my phone ain't ringing.
Yeah.
My phone ain't ringing, so
Yeah.
it must be done.
Yep.
My phone ain't ringing. It's like you damn right it ain't clear.
Yeah, because we're
No, I
letting
don't
you
think
go.
anybody's going out on dates because no one's hitting me up.
Yeah.
There ain't no parties happening in high school
Yeah.
for high school seniors because
Yeah.
nobody called me.
I'm the party animal. Yeah. Ain't nothing going down without me at that party.
That's a great point. There.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk more about that possible Big 12 expansion or maybe inevitable Big 12 expansion. And Colorado looks like they may be the team. All right, what you got coming up on Harsh Knock Life, Harsh?
We got Donovan Campbell coming up to talk about his time, his son's time at the University of Texas, what it's like to be a parent for a kid that just got drafted, and so much more, because he, too, was a former baseball player, professional baseball player as well.
Ooh, lots of hardball with hardball and somebody else who knows all about the game. All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let's talk about our good friends at Apple Leasing, because you need friends like these in the car business. And our friends over at Apple Leasing, they just want to make sure that you get the price you want, the payment you want on the car you want. That's their entire business model, and that's why they're really good at it, too. They've been doing business here in Austin for almost 40 years. That's a really long time because they do it the right way by taking care of their customers and making sure that customer satisfaction is their top priority. Now, we all know getting a new car, it can be satisfying, especially that brand new car car smell. We all want it, but what we don't want are the stresses and the headaches associated with getting a new car. Going to different dealerships, going to different auto dealers, looking at different cars, price shopping, making sure that you got the right price and payment plan compatible with your budget. And also, what if you're in a bad lease? You want to get into one of those simple interest easy leases that our friends at Apple Leasing have. Well, that can be a stressful process and time consuming. Who's got that kind of time? Let Apple Leasing take care of that for you. All you got to do is make one phone call, 512-346-9977. You make that call and you let them know the price you want, the payment you want, what kind of car you want for you and your family, and they will take care of the rest. Somebody who can attest to this commitment is my man, Mike Hart.
It's all about commitment. You want to make sure that you're in a good car. That's the one thing that you always want to make sure. You don't want to be driving around and having to worry about the car breaking down. Do yourself a favor and pick out the car you want, because Apple Leasing will work with you. Everybody wants to know what the easy lease is. Do yourself a favor. Call 512-346-9977 and just ask them, or go to appleleasing.com. They'll walk you through the process. As someone, for people that know me, they know that I like a certain type of vehicle. I like to be comfortable. I like to move around because I'm in my car a lot. You want your car to be comfortable, so why not find one that you like? Go to appleleasing.com. The folks make it so easy for you. And a lot of people don't even understand what leasing is all about. I was a guy that thought, oh, man, I got to buy my car. I want to own my car. No. It's the new way. Leasing is easy. Well, what if I drive too much? Don't worry about it. They will set it up for you to where you can feel comfortable with the payments that you want, and you can drive with the mileage that you need. Go to appleleasing.com and reach out to them, because they will make it easy for you. I was really busy one day and they were like, Mike, we need you to come in and sign the papers. Now I was like, I can't make it over there at this time, but can you send it over? They was like, yep. DocuSign, baby. That's how advanced that they are. So go to appleleasing.com or give them a call, 512-346-9977, and let them take the worries away from you. Scott Cross is a great man, and he's already told you he want to lease cars and make friends. Well, he's got both of them with me. appleleasing.com. Welcome back to our midweek movie theme edition of Ball Don't Lie, and our midweek movie is Boomerang. My man Patrick Davis always trying to throw us off, but Patrick, but Rod and I got to keep our black card.
That's right, baby.
So we didn't want to go out like that, but we went out strong. We made sure we had Boomerang. But it's your boy Hardball Hard. You can follow me on Twitter at Hardball Hard. You can follow my man Rob Babers at Rob Babers, and of course the man behind the glass that's in charge of all our themes and has done an unbelievable job since the day we walked in this place together. It's Patrick Davis. We also love it when you're a part of the show, so hit us up on the Specs text line 512-337-3776. And joining us right now on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline is a man that I'm sure seen many of Boomerangs and been a part of Boomerang. Right now, he's a proud father. He's got a son that was just drafted in the MLB draft. He signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. This man is a former professional baseball player. He also played with the Atlanta Braves. He is one Donovan Campbell. DC, what's happening, my brother?
Man, what's going on? How y'all doing today, man? Thank y'all for having me on the show. It's a blast. I love listening to you guys every day.
I appreciate that.
Thanks
We
for coming
always
on.
appreciate
And
it.
congratulations to you and the family, for sure.
Thank you, man. Much appreciated, brother.
So, DC, let me ask you about this because you had your own professional career. You played for the Braves organization, and then you decided, you know what, I need to go do something else. And you went to Texas Southern and got a chance to actually see your Texas Southern team play against your son this past year here at Dishfalt. But as a proud parent, when you get a chance to watch your son kind of walk in your footsteps, especially at this level, how impressive is it for him to be able to do so, but most importantly, rewarding for you and your family?
You know, I think about that all the time, but I just kind of sit back and look at him and just his progression and how he's just such a humble kid, man. He's so laid back, and you got to get him to do this, to do that, and get himself out there more, man. But it was just a blessing to be able to see him kind of take off with baseball. I mean, he started the ball was in his hand at 3 or 4 years old, you know, any kind of ball. He just wanted to have the ball and go outside and do his thing. And, you know, from that point, man, he just continued to want the ball and go outside and do his thing. And, you know, I mean, it's just to see him grow from that little kid to where he is today. You know, you just feel like, you know, as a parent, you know, job well done. And, you know, he made it to this point, but he still has a lot of work to do. And, you know, I'm from Louisiana, Abbeville, Louisiana. We give a lot of tough love. You know, it's not over yet. So you have a lot of work left to do. This is your job now. So you have to get after it. You got to get started, and this is a new start. You know, Texas baseball was amazing. It was a blessing being at that school for 3 years. He learned a lot. The coaches taught him a lot. It was a great program. And, you know, it's time to just move on. And he decided, you know, he was kind of back and forth. Should I go back to school or should I go, you know, play? And, you know, it was his decision ultimately. But just to see where he is today, man, it's just been great, to be honest with you.
Hey, Donovan, let's talk about his athleticism overall, because when you were talking about how he just wanted to have a ball in his hands, you hinted that it might not have just been baseball. What other sports did Dylan Campbell play as a youngster growing up?
Well, he was, you know, football. We actually kind of followed, he followed my path, which was football and baseball.
Okay.
And, you know, he played football as a youth, and I mean, he was, I think, maybe about 8 years old, and he played on this team called the Saints, which was great for me because I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. So he played on this team called the Saints, and, dude, they moved him up to play with, like, 10-year-old and 12-year-old kids because he was doing so good in football. And just kind of progressed, and then he started playing basketball, and I had to look at him and tell him, I said, dude, you're 5'10", man. That basketball won't work for you, brother. You need to pick something else, save your knees and your ankles, and just stick with, you know, a couple of sports and focus on those sports. And but, you know, high school, he went to Straight Jesuit here in Houston, and I mean, he was all-state running back. I mean, he had 2,000 yards one season, 36 touchdowns. I mean, he was, in 6A football. That's not a small feat when you're playing 6A football.
No, sir.
So, so he decided, Dad, I just want to play baseball. And I said, man, that's a great decision. Easy on the body. Your longevity is good. You get guaranteed contracts. Yes. So just go ahead and stick with baseball and do what you need to do, brother. So, that's how it all happened for him just growing up. But he was a football player, too.
That's great advice, though. And by the way, he's a running back too, Donovan. So you definitely don't want him playing running back these days.
No, not anymore. Man, running back, man, good Lord, they're not even paying these guys anymore. Saquon Barkley took the wrong deal, man. He's supposed to hold up. Now all the other guys are getting messed over. So,
no doubt.
That's exactly what we were talking about. Yeah, we're talking to Donovan Campbell, Dylan Campbell's father, and I know that sounds really, really good. I know you got your other kids as well, and I know that the moment happened with the draft, but talk about the process of it all. Not necessarily, the negotiations or anything like that, but the journey from his freshman year at the University of Texas, and it's been documented. He had I think it was 189 or 169 batting average, wasn't playing every day. Talk about those hard conversations as a father, because I've been through those conversations as a father, but I want to hear your perspective for someone who's gone through these things, who's been through some hard times in the game of baseball and in life, and now the reward was just given to him 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's a good segue into hitting 189. Yeah, his freshman year, as you just mentioned, and he had limited at bats, and the team was stacked. They had the outfielders were juniors, and those guys were killing it. So he got in every now and again, and but hitting 189 as a freshman, at least he had the chance to see what Texas baseball was all about. Just how the program was run, and just learning the processes and how to be a Texas baseball player. Because it's when you get into that program, just listening to him talk about it, and how great all of that is. It was just a transformation to see him going from hitting 189 with limited at bats. Then he got into his sophomore year, and a couple of guys got hurt, and, they shoved. He was an infielder, of course, and then they moved him to the outfield. But the good thing is that, we worked on all that. And I told him, I said, dude, you're not going to be in one position. You're not going to limit yourself to one position. You have speed. You can move. So let's work on outfield. So go in the outfield. Do, different positions except pitcher and catcher. And it just all, just started to transform when a couple of players got hurt. Coach Pierce put him in the outfield, and, he started playing more, and he hit, I think, 267 his sophomore year, but he had some big hits and some big-time playoff games, especially at East Carolina last year. And, it was just good to see him just moving and getting better in the program at Texas. And then, his junior year, he just kind of, he started every game. So it was just a matter of him getting out there, keeping his head up. We have some tough conversations about, hey, you're not playing, but that's okay. Keep your head up. Don't put your head down. Just keep moving forward, keep working, showing them you want to be part of the program, and you have the ability to do whatever you want to do. So he kept doing that, and, kept working, and that's what it's all about. You can't quit because you're not playing. You got to earn your spot. I tell that to everybody all the time. I don't care. He wasn't going to transfer. He wasn't leaving Texas for anything. They took a chance on you, signed you. Let's go ahead and continue to work. You're going to get an opportunity. You just have to put in the work. And that's basically what it is,
Wow. Yep. I can tell you, Texas baseball fans right now, they probably got chills right now listening to that because, I got a little chills listening to it. And I love that you just didn't let Dylan lose confidence? Because I see so many young athletes, they have the talent, they just lose the confidence because they go through adversity, different things happen, whether it be injury, you're not playing, and you just didn't allow him to lose that confidence. And playing at the highest level, man, you got to have that almost unshakable confidence in yourself when nobody else does or when things aren't going well.
Absolutely. And baseball is a game of failure. You could be a millionaire and you hit 270, 280, 300. That's you get a hit, 3 hits out of every 10 at bats. You the man. You're making millions of dollars. So it's a game of failure, but you just have to keep your head down, keep working, and hustle. He had an opportunity, I guess. I think it was this past season, the season before. And I think Mike and I talked about that before when he didn't run out a fly ball, infield hit, and coach sit him down, but he didn't lose confidence. And, we had a hard discussion about, dude, if you hit the ball 30 feet foul, I want to see you sprinting down the line. I don't care where it is. Go hard on every play. And, from that point, he continued to, just grow and progress. And, and here we are today, just a kid just didn't even think he had even a chance to even, get drafted. And here he is, and, getting drafted in the 4th round to the Dodgers, which is an amazing organization, just doing my research and looking into all of that. So, and, we were there the last couple of days, and he actually signed yesterday. And, that's a great organization, great people. I'm just happy for him. He's excited. He's working now. I tried to get him to jump on, but he said he just texted me and said, "Dad, I have a job now, so I have to work, and I don't have time to be sitting on the phone. I got to get to work." Because he's like, I'm behind a couple of weeks because he got drafted July the 10th, and here we are on the 25th or whatever, 26th, yeah. And he's behind, so he's trying to get himself caught up.
I love it.
So yeah, he's excited.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. And the best part about it is, and I know a lot of Texas baseball fans listen to the show, and they love the fact, and I know that you got a bunch of fans from Occupy Left Field, Mr. Wilson, that you sit with at all the games, you have immersed yourself into this program the way that a lot of people really don't understand. The relationships that always happen throughout this time. You know as well as I do, you've been in the baseball game. Baseball, it's baseball family. It's baseball for life. And the fact that your son has been blessed enough. And I came on the airways, and I actually talked to Rod about this off air one time. I was like, I watched the conversation of him not running out the fly ball. I watched the conversation in the dugout between he and Coach Pierce. And it was not a, you better run, you know better. It was a, hey, man, you've earned this spot, but don't let it get away from you, and make sure that you handle your business. And that's exactly what he did. And it's refreshing because the stories that have continued to be spread throughout these moments will live forever. That little moment is going to stay in his life forever because he understands it. That conversation that you had with him as a father is he'll never forget that either. So I appreciate the fact that you are having that conversation with him, and I appreciate the fact that he has been able to take that walk now into the life of a professional athlete. But I'd be remiss if I didn't have a chance to talk to you about that 38-game hitting streak. You know as well as I do, we're all superstitious. We go through all these different things. What did Dylan do throughout that streak to make sure that he did it the same way every single day?
Well, and that's a good question, man. We were talking as he was going through it, and I've never really brought it up. And I just sometimes I'd ask him, "Hey, man, how you feeling? You got 12 games or whatever it was." I was talking to him about. He's like, "Dad, I don't even think about that. I just go up and I work on my approach that I was taught at Texas and how to, make good swing decisions. And I'm not swinging anything out of the zone. If I get a hit, I get a hit. If I don't, I don't. But it's all about how you go about your at bat and your approach to each at bat. And he wasn't even focused on it, to be honest with you guys, man. He was just really focused on trying to help his team win, and move and keep winning and winning. And I mean, they were in that 18, 19 game win streak.
Yep.
I mean, they were moving, and he was, in the mix with all of that and still getting hits. And that's what it's all about. It's about what you're learning, the team environment, and you have to keep your head in the game and not focus on individual accomplishments. It's more about the team. And, that's just him. That's just who he is, and that's just how he approaches the game. And, when he got to 25, I was like, dang, I think it was Kansas. His 25th hit was a home run against Kansas. And I was like, dang, this boy, he's rolling. He's rolling in my mind. I'm saying, how long is this going to go? And, and then, we got to Stanford, and, he got catcher's interference. They intentionally walked him, and I would tell him, dude, get a hit your first at bat, though. I really used to tell him because the rest of the game, then you can kind of relax more, and then you can, just play your game. But so he waited, and, he didn't get a hit his first couple of bats, and he had that catcher's interference, and then they intentionally walked him, and then the hit streak ended. But that was a great accomplishment for him. At least one thing, and he doesn't really even care about it, but he will be in the record books in the Big 12, and be in the Big 12 for forever because with his hitting streak. So I'm just proud of him for that.
No
Absolutely.
doubt
We
about
all
it,
are.
man. We are very proud about him because I was in here hyped every single day because it is really a good thing to watch a young man grow, and obviously being around the program for as long as we have, it is really refreshing to watch the way he went out there and did his business, man. We're very happy for him. We're happy for your family, and we all want to say congratulations and wish you got a lot of Dodger fans in here now. Let's just say that.
Oh, good. It's hard around here, in Houston, living in Houston with all the Astros fans. But the people that support us and support Dylan, or they are on a Dodger side only when they're not playing the Astros. So you got to look at it that way, which is great, man. I just appreciate all the love, and especially from. You had mentioned before all the Occupy Left Field people and all of those folks, man. Those are the good people. Those people, man. I'll always have a connection with those folks, and they were great to me and my sister and my family, and it was just good to be part of that whole environment, man. Every game. We were out there in left field having a good time, and those are some good people. And Mr. Wilson, Scott Wilson.
Yep.
That's my dog right there, for sure.
I know I saw you told him to make sure he saved that seat for you because you're gonna still be around and coming to all these games. So
Absolutely, don't give up my seat, and I'll be sitting behind him, watching all the new guys, and I even talked to Coach Pierce. A few times over the last couple of weeks, man, and just told him, man, I am, just thankful for him. And he took a chance on my son, gave him an opportunity, and started to play him. And, how he helped him develop to where he is today, which is amazing. I'm just thankful for that for sure.
No doubt about it, man. DC, thank you so much, and plenty of blessings to you and your family. And we're going to stay in touch. You already know that. But thank you for joining us today and telling us about the path.
Man, thank y'all so much for having me. You guys have a blessed afternoon, and talk to you guys soon.
All right,
sure.
bro.
Thank you.
There he is. There he is.
Awesome.
Donovan Campbell, proud father right there, man.
Yeah, you
Proud
can almost
father.
hear the pride
Yeah,
that
you
he's
can
got
hear it.
nicknamed. Well, because he described like the adversity that
Yeah.
the young man faced and all the obstacles he had to overcome, and then to watch him still, in spite of all the obstacles and everything, be able to keep his focus, keep his confidence,
Yep.
and just grind his way to accomplishing his dreams.
No doubt.
I mean, that didn't make anybody proud.
No
I
doubt.
think a lot of Longhorn fans are proud of him, too.
Definitely a lot of
All right, we went over there, but it was well worth it. That was good stuff. We'll come back, but we'll get back on track. All that more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Went a little bit late, but it was well worth it because Donovan Campbell was fantastic. We want to thank him again for his time, dropping some nuggets and some of the great stories about his son, Dylan Campbell, who just signed his deal with the LA Dodgers. And thanks to Harsh, once again, for opening up the contact list, bring us a great guest for Harsh Knock Life. All right, we'll come right back because we're way over. We'll come right back and get into the big stories today, including Colorado may be looking to join the Big 12. We'll talk about that and news, notes, and nuggets from NFL training camps right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Austin is a beautiful city. We all love it. We all call it home. Part of the reason that the unique aesthetic appeal attracts so many people is because of the skilled craftsmanship of our good friends at Ironworkers, local Union 482. They've been helping shape Greater Austin since 1935. You see the labors of their love all over this great city. You may be driving by one of them right now, not even know it, like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And as our city continues to grow and thrive, so does Ironworkers, local Union 482. They don't go to the office. They're the ones building the offices. So if you're looking for an exciting new career path, maybe you're frustrated with your work choices, maybe you just want something new, something fresh, maybe you want to feel valued. You can become a valued member of this prestigious organization, Ironworkers Local 482, and you'll accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development. Right now, they're hiring over 3,000 people for a huge project right here in Central Texas, and you can become a valued member of Ironworkers Local 42 and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that help shape the future of our great city. So maximize your potential and be your best self today. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 1049 The Horn. Oh, I remember this scene too.
Oh, man,
And
everybody's been
Boomerang.
excited about this one.
Oh,
Everybody,
yeah.
They were hitting Patrick up. They were like, man, play some PM Dawn. Play some PM Dawn.
Yes, it is a midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when Patrick, the Idillionaire, who's working very hard for us, he takes songs from a soundtrack that inspired him, and based on the selections that are played, Harch and I are supposed to gather clues and hints that lead us to the featured film of midweek movie music. And thanks to Patrick now, I'm going to have to go home and watch Boomerang. I can tell you how many times, Patrick, because of his midweek movie music selections, I end up watching that movie
Yeah.
that week or that weekend. I have Boomerang on my DVR right now. I sound like an old man even
You
saying
do.
I have
you,
DVR.
You do saying that you got your DVR right there.
I still have a DVR.
I
know
got the
it's old.
DVD. I got the DVD right there.
DVR is not
I
that
got the
bad.
laser disc.
I got the laser.
Is DVR
it's
still
Blu-ray.
in the streaming era? Is DVR basically that antiquated?
Pretty much.
Really?
Because everything is on demand.
Everything is
now.
streamed. You stream
You
everything.
can get it
I have
on
all
demand.
that. I have
Yeah,
all that.
Yeah.
But some actually, the streaming platforms don't have all the movies you like either.
They do not.
They don't. They don't have access to all of it.
It
You
makes
gotta
me
own-
very mad.
You got to have access to like 5 different streaming platforms to get all the movies, have access to all the movies you want. So I still own a huge cabinet full of DVDs.
Oh, my goodness.
A bunch. My wife she's threatening me.
Once again,
She wants some gum.
Rod Papers Babers.
Yeah, she wants
and DVD.
Oh yeah, and I own the Boomerang DVD, but I also like the movie so much I have it saved on my DVR. With my wife hates this.
She's trying to get something.
Oh,
Wait,
she hates
is
it.
this-
With 8 or 10 movies that I just, even though I have access to them, I just like having them saved. And Boomerang is one of those movies, along with It's a Wonderful Life, which they never play. I just like having access to it, and it's like Casinos on there and
Wait,
Goodfellas.
is this like an HBO or Showtime or
Yes,
is
it's
it like a
cable.
TV?
Yeah, it's like cable played it and I recorded it.
Okay,
and
but
then
I'm
it was
just
up.
making sure it's not like the TNT with edited and commercial breaks.
Just saving
And
it.
he's still watching it.
Just saving it.
Yeah, I don't like those.
No.
Where the mother sucker.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
exactly.
I don't want those. No, but it's a sickness. I guess I probably should delete those.
Hey, we're helping her out. We're trying to help her. We're trying to
I
convince
have
you.
Texas football games saved on there. It's a problem. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, but you do film studies, so you got to go
I
back
do.
and review.
She's not
That's
gonna
how
let me
you
get rid of
found
those.
out about the holding penalties.
Yes, that's money. So
Yeah,
she's not gonna get rid of
exactly.
that. She wants me to get rid of the movies that I
Exactly.
actually own the DVDs to, but also have it saved on the DVR as well. She's like, that is a bit ridiculous, and she's right.
And she is correct.
That's borderline disorder stuff right there, and I will be the first to admit it. Okay, let's get to. We got some training camp news, notes, and nuggets. We'll get to those. Also, we're going to continue talking about this story, which may be a breaking story as we speak. That Colorado, the University of Colorado, currently in meetings right now with officials, decision makers from their university and Pac-12 officials, trying to discuss something. They haven't said what's being discussed. The theory is that they're discussing leaving the Pac-12 and possible expansion of the Big 12, even more expansion of the Big 12. The Pete Thamel report says Colorado is in discussions about a move to the Big 12, and the school has just completed a board meeting and scheduled another for tomorrow to discuss the move. The Big 12 is also holding a president's meeting tonight where there's expected to be an expansion update. All right, so we get that expansion update from the Big 12, then we know. All right,
Yep.
this thing is happening.
It is 100% happening.
Because Brett Yormark
Yeah.
has played things pretty close to the vest.
He has.
He talks about they're going to be aggressive, do what's best for the Big 12, that they're going to be active, they're going to be disruptors. So he's implying that, yes, they're going to actively raid the Pac-12, but I believe because of legal reasons, his lawyers probably tell him, man, don't just say that.
Right.
All right, so you can hint it, but don't say it out loud. So he hasn't really said it. If the Big 12 comes out and Brett Yormark, they confirm, these reports, then that would mean this is definitely I think it's inevitable. I think we all agree the Big 12 is going to expand at one point. We just didn't know what the timetable was going to be. Well, Ross Dellinger said the Pac-12 held its own board meeting this morning, where Commissioner George Klyavkov provided an update on the media rights negotiations. Yeah. And Craig Wade just texted me. He says DVR is not as antiquated as TiVo. have memories of Mac Brown saying in news conferences how he had TiVo'd a game. I think TiVo was the thing. Wasn't TiVo a thing basically when we had Nipplegate with Janet Jackson? Was that TiVo?
That's when everybody
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
like,
early
TV.
that's when they
yeah.
found out like all the analytics and like how many people were tuned in at the time and how many people
Yep.
were upset about that and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, great point. TiVo.
TiVo.
I like that.
And
Okay,
you can hear Craig saying it too.
I can too. I can really picture Craig's TiVo.
TiVo.
But getting back to the Big 12, what I will say is that, man, George Kliavkoff, guys, I don't know how he is so uninformed, misinformed, unaware. I'm not sure why he is, and maybe he's just playing. I don't say playing dumb, but playing ignorant. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know. Maybe
He's Bob Bowlesby.
He's acting like Bob Bowlesby.
He's acting like
Now,
Bob
I
Bowlesby.
went and found a quote because I remember this specifically in Bob Bowlesby in 2021. Remember, 2021, Big 12 Media Days, Bob Bowlesby. I got the actual quote,
Yes.
all right, from him when he was asked about realignment. This is the quote from Bob Bowlesby, Big 12 Media Days 2021. He said, you have to remember, he said this in such an arrogant way, too. He was like, he said it he puffed his chest out.
You know how he did it. You know how he did
No,
it.
as a matter of fact, I remember how it went down. Before he was asked about realignment, nobody asked a question about it because everybody assumed year after year he had been pretty adamant and bullish that they don't need to expand and they're not expanding.
Yep.
So I think the media was just beating over the head with it, and they were tired of asking it. So he got one question at the end of his Big 12 Media Day availability, and the question at the end was about realignment and expansion. And he literally, go look up the quote. He says, I was waiting on one of you guys to ask me about that. He said, I would have won a betting pool if I didn't get a question about expansion and Big 12 expansion and realignment. So he was like joking and cocky
Yeah,
about it.
yep.
And this was his quote.
Yep.
And this is big. This is 11 days later after this quote. Texas and Oklahoma reportedly are leaving the Big 12. 11 days after Bob Bowlesby made this quote. All right, in an arrogant fashion, he said, quote, you have to remember, the last round of conference realignments was all driven by cable households, and we find ourselves now in a rapidly shrinking cable environment. It is much less driven by capturing a particular cable market because if it's an in-market fee, you get a lot more money for it than if it's an out-of-market fee. So the more you can include those things, the more revenue you're going to derive from it. The motivation is essentially gone for realignment. The cable universe has shrunk 20 million households already. It's going to continue to shrink as we migrate to digital consumption and streaming. He went on to say a lot of the motivation for realignment is no longer there. Is that to say it couldn't happen? No. It could possibly happen for other reasons, but it doesn't appear to be the motivation right now for a lot of teams at this point in time. Not to say it couldn't happen, but it's not one of the things that keeps me up at night. End quote. 11 days later. Literally. So why he's saying this behind his back at the time, Texas Oklahoma are negotiating their way out of the Big 12, emancipating themselves from the Big 12. He is clueless, unaware, totally ignorant that Greg Sankey and that Texas and Oklahoma are behind his back plotting to leave the Big 12. And so I'll read you Kliavkoff's comments just so we can compare ignorance. All right. This is what Kliavkoff said at Pac-12 Media Days. Like I said, it might be his last too. He said, quote, we constantly update our board. I think they're enthusiastic like I am about the media deal. But I would tell you what we've seen is that the longer we wait for the media deal, the better our options get. And I think our board realizes that. There's an underlying shift in the media market that's happening, and we're long-term taking advantage of that. But short-term, it may have provided some hiccups. Oh, hiccups, you say?
Oh, you
Hiccups.
say?
He also went on to say, we're on track to announce our deals at about the same time everyone else would have anticipated and predicted before conference realignment. He said, we constantly update our board. He also went on to say, the truth is, our schools are committed to each other and to the Pac-12. We'll get our media rights deal done. We'll announce the deal. I think the realignment that's going on in college athletics will come to an end for this cycle. He sounds like Bowlesby.
Yeah.
He literally says,
That's
don't
what
come
I'm
to an
saying.
end. Like, what are you talking about?
He's missing the point. The things around you are going other places. Everybody is looking for a spot to land to get money. And you're telling us it's not happening? Get your head out of the sand. What are you doing, man?
Well, and he doesn't. I think it feels like both of these things feel like something that they were told by the person they're negotiating with.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They seem like things that the guy goes, well, if you just keep on waiting and you do this, and they go, yeah, because we already own the rights to the Big 12.
Thank you.
And if we get all your guys to go over there, then we've already paid them. The
Pretty
deal's already
much.
signed. It doesn't matter how many teams they add. We've already signed it.
Wow.
So we can get more if we screw you over. And they did to Bowlesby, too. And they go, no, don't worry about it because we're already talking to Sankey.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Yeah.
we know that he's pulling your guys. So you be calm.
Yeah.
No, dude. No, there's no reason anyone would leave. Bob, don't return the phone call.
That's a great point.
They both seem like things because they're saying stuff in there that's very much TV speak, which I get you're a commissioner, you work with that, but that's not your primary job.
Yeah.
So you're saying things that are like, there's no way you talk like this.
Hopefully you don't believe the stuff you're saying.
that's-
and I think he
that's
believes
it right there.
I think he believes.
You're listening to the person
Yeah.
who's trying to give you less money. And you're telling me the things that they're telling you to give you less money to convince me it's okay that you're getting less money.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And trying to convince us that you not signing a media deal, all right, basically not getting it done sooner rather than later is a good thing because you're going to get more money the longer you wait. And as Harsh has mentioned and Harsh has brought this up, and he mentioned that the money actually now is more scarce than it was at one point because now the broadcast networks like ESPN and these streaming networks as well,
Yes.
they've already decided what sports contracts and what conferences they want to sign to these major
Who they
TV
wanna
broadcast
see.
deals. And there's nobody left to pay you, Pac-12. Who's left to pay you?
Well, not only that, think about it. Have you ever seen the Pac-12 network?
It is a really
You got to
Yeah.
search, you got to scour.
Yeah.
I have it, and I still don't get to see games live.
yeah.
No, the
it's a
Pac-12
mess.
network is one of those things when you've
It's a
been
mess.
gambling all day, and then you're like, well, I guess football's over. And they're like, nah, there's a 12:30 game. It's like, really? Yeah, Pac-12
Exactly.
network,
Pac-12
12:30 game.
And you're searching. You're searching. I have it. I've gone through it. I have not seen a game from the last 12 years.
I don't watch a lot of Pac-12 football.
It's not being played.
I have to go out of my way to do it. Like this.
Yes.
You know, when that college football Saturday when you're like, I'm just going to flip. I'm going to see what's
See
going
what
on.
game I can
know it's going to be
find.
some good ones.
Yeah.
I rarely land on the Pac-12 game.
Ever.
I'll just
Ever.
give you the real.
Yeah.
I love this text. It's a great text. It's hurtful, but damn, it's funny. Pac-12 just announced their media radio deal with 104.9.
It is hurtful.
That's hurtful. That's well done.
But gosh
Come
dang
on now, hey.
it, that is funny.
That's just.
If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at?
Come on now. Come on, Texter. Well done there, sir. Well done.
That was outstanding.
Well done.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so Kleof Koff.
That's where you're not going to be able to find it.
right? Isn't that the text of the day? That
is the text of the
fantastic.
day.
All right. Great job there, Texter. Okay, so yeah, we'll give you some updates whenever more details are released about what Colorado's doing. But make no mistake, guys, part of that I would say part of the allure and part of what makes Colorado, the program, now more attractive than they were 2 years ago, Deion Sanders.
Yep, 100%.
That Deion Sanders, I'm not. They still would have been considered because they're an old Big 12 member, so they still would have been considered. But now they're way more attractive.
They
and
are
appealing
they
than
are at the
once were.
front of the line.
Because it
They
matches.
skipped the line.
It matches Brett Yarmark's
Yes.
like his philosophy. What does he want to make the Big 12? Make it cool.
Exactly.
He wants to make the Big 12 cool. He said we want to be kind of the nexus of pop culture and sports. That's what the Big 12 wants to be. We're a hip hop conference, right? We're all about. We have shows. We have about entertainment. They're bringing. They got I don't know if they did have it for football, but at least for basketball last year, they had like a hip hop anthem.
Yep.
For the Big 12 basketball tournament. And there is no coach in college football that embraces hip hop and honestly maybe pop culture more so than Deion.
Yep, he is pop culture.
Brett Yormark, that's why Brett Yormark wants that guy. He's like, no, we need Deion here. Whether he fails or whether he succeeds, he's going to be great for the Big 12.
Agreed.
And he's going to recruit like gangbusters.
And he is.
Deion back in with access to Big 12 teams, to Texas teams.
What?
Playing against Texas teams, being a recruit in the state of Texas.
In Dallas.
Ooh, that's going to
I
be
think,
scary.
yeah, I think Yormark also understands you got to kill the Pac-12.
You do.
I think he wants to deal the death blow and go, look, let's just get rid of them because it means more money for the rest of us. If we can get rid of this and we can kind of all the conferences will assimilate those schools, but if we can just get rid of it and we can not make it a Power 4 and take out the other Power 5, that's a bigger split. That's a bigger piece of pie for all of us.
Totally agree.
And I think he knows that, and he's like, look, we'll take Colorado because we know that the TV deals right now, the TV deal you're going to sign right now, Colorado's big for that.
Yep.
It may not be in 4 or 5 years, but if I want to deal a death blow, I got to take them. And then I got to look at an Arizona, and I got to look at a couple of these schools that if I take them now, it's going to be a big shot to them, and it's going to be real hard for them to last as a Power 5 conference because then it's Stanford, Washington, Oregon, and some of those, like those schools that you're like, they're good, but are you enough to keep you a Power 5 with just those schools? Or do you have to start adding other people in?
Those schools, Washington, Oregon, in my opinion, will be probably Big Ten bound.
Yeah,
at that
Utah. I mean, like, there's decent programs still there, but
I think
they're not.
Washington, Oregon, those will be the most coveted schools in the Pac-12 once this realignment starts up again. And I think the Big Ten would go after, wholeheartedly go after Oregon because they want the sugar daddy and Phil Knight and the Nike brand. And they would go after Washington just because.
And I think that now that they got USC and UCLA, they'd like to get some over on that coast to let those guys play each other a little bit more and have the
totally agree. So the travel's not just painstaking all the time. But I think we're watching, this is the beginning of the end of the Pac-12, and it's George Kliavkoff. I mean, he's the captain of the Titanic, essentially. What's that guy's name? We don't remember that guy's name? Anybody remember the captain of the Titanic?
Nope.
We should get on that guy more. That guy should get more criticism.
I feel like I feel like his kids are really trying to keep that a low key.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, hey, we ain't canceled that guy yet. No, I'm just kidding. It was a harmless mistake.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Little
mistake. My bad.
Missed the big iceberg, and most of it was submerged underwater. How could you see that? It's not your fault.
I did not do. Where's Jacques Cousteau when you need him? Right?
Oh, his name's Edward Smith. That's why. Ed Smith. That's not a catchy
that's
name,
right.
Man.
That didn't stand out in history enough. Okay, there you go. So George Kliavkoff, I think right now, he is definitely the captain of a sinking ship in the Pac-12. And Patrick's right. If you're the Big 12, Brett Yarmark now, you do need. And by the way, I think every other Power 5 conference commissioner would like for Brett Yarmark to deal that death blow, as Patrick talked about, because then any, possible litigation that may happen because of the Big Ten poaching UCLA and USC and stuff like that, that would just go away. Because then it would be just seen as a disintegrating conference, and everybody just picked up the pieces. All right. So we'll get to some more of that news because we expect some other details about that report about realignment. But Colorado might be heading to the Big 12 sooner rather than later. Old Big 12 is coming back to the Big 12.
They're coming home. They're coming home.
Yeah. Man, hell of a year for Colorado.
It is.
For Colorado sports,
A lot of moves are being made, and we just got this tweet from our man CB, greatest volunteer producer on earth. He just sent a thing from Dennis Dodd, said that Big 12 presidents will meet to discuss Colorado's possible move to the league. They've told CBS Sports. Multiple reports say that Colorado's regents are meeting tomorrow on the subject. They would get a full share, $31.7 million from the Big 12.
That's what, straight cash, homie.
Let's do it.
Cream. Cash rules everything around me.
Dollar bills, y'all.
So that's what ultimately this is all about. And the Pac-12, they don't have enough of it. Mm-hmm. Kliavkoff.
No, but the longer they wait.
The
longer they
just
wait.
keep waiting.
The longer
Hey,
we
man,
wait.
look, if you just let me not pay rent this month, next month, I'm going to fix the house up. Then I'll pay you more rent.
It doesn't even make sense. Like, what are you waiting for? You waiting for the PIF? The Public Investment Fund coming through this mug, and they go buy the Pac-12 or something? Is that what you waiting on? By the way, if you're interested in a radio station, PIF, that's a really good one. 104.9.
You can play Pac-12 games on it.
Play whatever you want on there.
You can play Pac-12 games on it.
PGA, golf all day long. Just keep this crew together. We'd like that. Anyway, but yeah, I do think that if you're looking at right now for the Big 12 and them giving it that full share, that is their way of telling every other team out there, hey, you get full share, baby, as soon as you come in.
Mm-hmm.
And we ain't playing no games.
Yep.
You just come in, first year, full share.
We got you.
So that's going to incentivize some other teams to go, dude, they're getting full share right away. Let's go. Let's go get our full share right now. So maybe you get that Arizona or Arizona State, or you get your I mean, I don't know. I think right now they're looking at Arizona. Arizona State was, I think, reported.
Yep.
This is
They're part
months
of the
ago.
conversation.
Is that what
Yeah.
those are teams?
Yep.
What other teams are in?
I mean, I would imagine you talk to Utah because you got BYU.
Utah. There you go. That's a good point. Yeah, so they can have a rival, natural
So
rival.
yeah, so I imagine like some of those schools. Yeah, and then it's if you want to go up there to try and get Oregon and Washington, Stanford, any of those, Stanford fits into your academic.
Stanford fits a little bit. Something, yeah. I would love to go get Oregon if you can get a sugar
You- if
daddy
you
like
can
Phil
get
Knight.
Oregon, yeah.
I think Oregon would see the Big 12 as beneath them a little bit, and so would Washington.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to see it beneath you when you're
I get it.
when,
I get it.
when
I
you're
get it.
underwater.
I trust me, I get it, but I think they know the Big Ten would easily welcome them in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the Big Ten's like, oh, of course we want
Oh yeah,
Oregon
No,
and Phil
it
Knight.
makes
Nike.
more sense. It makes more
Yeah.
sense that if Big 12 kind of takes the middle, and then the coast goes to the Big 10.
Because the Big Ten already has that West Coast teams, and like
yeah.
we just want a
so
couple
if you
more
give
West
that
Coast
coast, it just makes more sense that way.
teams. Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like it's
It's a
coming to
good
them.
point, too, on the text line, because we know Brett Yormark, he is big into basketball only
Yeah.
member, or at least he's not big into it. He sees it as a possibility, basketball only members in the Big 12. And someone says, watch out for UConn.
That's what I was talking about.
And yeah, maybe it's more than basketball with a
Yep.
team like UConn. Maybe they can come in as a full-fledged member. So
That's your Jim Moore. Jim Moore Jr. is the
Oh,
head
is he up
coach.
there?
Yeah, he's
I
the
didn't
head
realize
coach.
that.
And he's already turned that program around.
yeah,
He's already turned it around.
man, there you go.
No, I think if you realize that, hey man, let's model more after the ACC than the SEC or the Big Ten, which is a lot of basketball schools. It's a bigger conference, and say, let's try and we know we can't compete Big Ten and SEC football wise. So if we kind of Leo ACC, where they had really good basketball programs for a
Yeah.
long time, and
And
they've had
competitive
rivalries,
football.
and
Yup.
then they also have a lot of schools in there, and they you have some basketball only, and you can have all of that mixed in. It makes it a little bit easier than trying to go, hey, we're really punching football with SEC and the Big Ten.
I totally agree, because you actually, Big 12, you're on your way potentially to owning
yeah.
market share of college basketball.
No, you get Arizona in there, and you get you create some really big rivals. You had Houston.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about the latest members they already brought in there, because
Yep.
U of H is big. Yeah, Big 12 is going to be a phenomenal college basketball conference. It already was really damn good. It's going to be even better. All right, so there you go, some realignment conversation. All right, so we'll get into training camp news, notes, and nuggets, so we have to bump some stuff because of the realignment story. All right, gentlemen, there's a story out there, and this story is, it was potentially going to be one of the biggest stories in sports, but the NFL moved at a rapid pace to put the kibosh on what they see as a threat to their overall pay structure and their overall financial blueprint. I'm not making this up. It was reported by Sports Business Journal. It was a small little blurb. Nobody really brought it up or talked about it. Small little story. NFL wants it to stay small because they don't want people having this conversation. But we are going to have this conversation when we come back. It actually relates to Lionel Messi a little bit too. Lionel Messi has got NFL billionaires scared, and I'll tell you the reason why. Right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let's talk about my favorite dentist. He should be your favorite dentist as well, Dr. Greg Eckert and his fantastic team. Because if you have any concerns about your dental health or dental hygiene, you need to reach out to Dr. Greg Eckert today, because he can give you a brand new smile in just one day. I know it sounds too good to be true. It's not. It's just Dr. U. He's always on the cutting edge of the technological advances in general dentistry, and right now, he can give you a brand new smile in just one day. My first experience with Dr. U, went to the office. I'm sitting there, and a woman comes out of one of the dental offices in one of the exam rooms, and she's crying. I thought to myself, see, this is why I don't come to the dentist office. It's all, sorrow. It's all sadness. People are in pain. That was not the case, actually. I was wrong. She was actually crying tears of joy. She had looked in the mirror, and Dr. Greg Eckert and his all-star team had given her the smile she had always wanted. She had never seen her smile look that good. She was brought to tears. You imagine that, tears of joy at the dentist office. Only Dr. U can give you that. So we're talking about a brand new smile, no time spent without teeth. You get 10% temporary fixtures until they complete your permanent smile, and you'll smile again with confidence and eat freely without pain or discomfort. We're talking about a lifelike permanent solution. So if you've been told your teeth need to be replaced, just call Dr. Greg Ecker today to learn about this revolutionary alternative to dentures. It's a brand new smile in just one day. It's a complimentary consultation, so you got nothing to lose but everything to gain. So right now, give them a call, 512-345-3166. That's 512-345-3166, or visit dreckert.com, DRUECKERT.com. All right, welcome back to All Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Now, the introduction and the signing of Lionel Messi has the soccer world abuzz with Inter Miami. Even last match versus Atlanta United scored 2 goals in like 22 minutes, something like that, and had an assist. So there's a lot of buzz about Lionel Messi, a lot of people talking about him, but also talking about his mega contract with Inter Miami, which gives him grants him equity stake in Inter Miami, and there's revenue sharing with concessions and with their Apple TV deal. I mean, it's going to end up being arguably the richest deal in all of that's American pro sports, no question, when it's all said and done. But he gets a piece of all damn everything. He gets a piece of jersey sales. He's a piece of their shoe deal, the Apple TV deal. He's getting a little slice of everything. And, of course, a little slice of the team. And remember, there's also a clause in his contract once he's done playing for Inter Miami and retires that he can buy, like, ownership stake in an MLS team, too, just like David Beckham did. So there is a precedent for it. So we know the NFL contracts for quarterbacks are becoming more and more ridiculously robust. Right? We just saw Justin Herbert sign a new deal. What is he getting? Is it 52.5 per year?
Yes.
Like 52.5 per year?
that, yeah.
Something like that?
Ridiculous.
It is getting ridiculous. And we know guys like Joe Burrow.
But I'll take it.
I'll take it.
It's honest work if you can find it.
That guys like Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, when he renegotiates his deal, but Joe Burrow is going to be up soon, and Joe Burrow's the second best quarterback in the NFL, so he's going to break the bank even more, considering what the market says a franchise quarterback is worth, especially one of his ilk. But I think most people are looking at when Patrick Mahomes is up again, because there's a good chance he's going to add another Super Bowl or All-Pro or MVP to his resume before he even signs another deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. And by the way, the Chiefs, they probably need to try to sign him sooner rather than later, or extend him, renegotiate him sooner rather than later. The NFL owners, man, these billionaires, these rich, brilliant mofos, man, diabolical mofos, they're already putting the kibosh on any potential negotiation that would give any player in the NFL, especially a quarterback, equity stake in the team. They voted last week to prohibit non-family employees from taking equity in teams, citing 6 potential problems with those arrangements they would prefer to avoid as the value of their assets soar. Owners approved the policy at the same meeting on which they also blessed that $6 billion sale of the Commanders to Josh Harris and his partners, which set a global high watermark for teams. So basically, in this new environment, they're deciding we're gonna stop this problem, or we're gonna head off this problem before it even starts, because we know some clever agent out there is looking at Lionel Messi's deal and going, well, you know what? My guy might be able to pull something like that off. It's probably David Mulligetta, the Johnny Cochran of NFL agents.
Boom.
Right? Who got Deshaun Watson a fully guaranteed deal whilst in the midst of a civil litigation with 21 allegations of sexual misconduct. But anyway, that guy's a damn good agent. But anyway, I digress. This is even more compelling. The finance committee, you know, the chair of the finance committee is owner of the Chiefs, Clark Hunt. He wrote to other owners that no such situations exist now in the NFL, but Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Serena Williams size, Cardi B size, Megan Thee Stallion size, but here is, quote, such arrangements may have been considered in the past and may exist in other sports leagues. He is the one, reportedly, that's actually spearheading this thing. So the owner of the Chiefs, who would probably be the only owner right now in jeopardy or in danger of having to give equity stake to a player of Patrick Mahomes' ilk, he's deciding, hell no, that ain't happening.
Well, see, I think he knows.
Hell no, we won't go.
I think he knows. He saw the Tom Brady thing where
Tom Brady's another. Yeah.
And then he goes, well, like Joe Burrow's coming out. And so there's owners in this league that to get a guy to come there would give up ownership because they don't have, they're cash poor. Mm-hmm. And they would say, well, we can't give you that, but we'll give you ownership. And the second that happens to anyone else, Patrick Mahomes gets ownership of the Chiefs. Because if Joe Burrow went to the Las Vegas Raiders and Mark Davis said,
set a precedent.
5%, I don't care.
Yeah,
come on over.
Even 1%, whatever.
Yeah. What is it? You're coming over here to the Vegas Raiders. We'll give you that. The Bengals can't match our offer. And we'll try and get you there.
Game changer.
And then Patrick Mahomes goes, he gets that? Oh, he gets that? Let's renegotiate.
Right.
And I think they know that where they go, hey, man, we're not going to be the first ones to do it, but the second it gets done, we have to do it.
Because we got the guy. We got the only guy that actually can demand it.
Yeah.
And deserves it.
But we know these other owners that we don't like may do it to get a guy to come there.
And how about this guy's report from Pro Football Talk says, per multiple sources, the representatives of USC's quarterback Caleb Williams had been making it known to prospective agents that Williams wants partial ownership of the team that selects him in 2024.
Never lost.
Likewise, a league source told Pro Football Talk that the Jets quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, who just renegotiated his deal, by the way,
Gave back $35 million.
took a little pay cut because he's trying to win, attempted to secure equity in his contract discussions with the Jets. So in addition to the example Patrick just brought up about Tom Brady, who we all know wanted to be the Jackie Moon of the NFL and have ownership but also play quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Didn't work out for him, but and by the way, he's still waiting on, was it ownership stake of the Raiders to get approved?
Yeah.
Like minority ownership. And there's rumors that he's not done playing still, that he might decide to come back one day. I doubt he's dating supermodels.
Those rumors called Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yes, right. That's exactly right. So, based on these reports, not only have we seen guys like Tom Brady, the GOAT, pursue this avenue, but there are guys coming out like Caleb Williams. Aaron Rodgers also pursued this avenue, and something tells me that Patrick Mahomes' agent has to be thinking about it. I mean, you got the best player in your sport, and he's going to be the best. He's going to be the best player in that sport for the next 10 years?
And doesn't Patrick Mahomes already own ownership stakes in other sports franchises?
Yes, he does.
So it is something that he is interested in his portfolio. And we know that Patrick Mahomes has said him and his agent are in constant talks with the Chiefs.
Yes, he did.
I mean, all of that makes sense. But, yeah, my assumption would be this is something that's been brought up, and they're very worried somebody else is going to do it.
Yeah, they just want to stop it before it even gets started. Like, hey, man, let's pass this rule now that it cannot happen. And I want to know what it was unanimous. I guarantee it was unanimous vote. I want to know if there's any team or any ownership that decided, no, we actually, because like Patrick said, there are other teams that decide, like the Raiders or the Browns, somebody like, no, actually, this maybe help us.
Yeah.
We actually can incentivize great players to come to us. We just got to give up 0.5%. You know what I mean, of ownership, and half, maybe, just, one, you can go kind of 1%, or you can go 1/4%. You can go really, really small, but like you said, opening the door is Pandora's box, and they don't want that to happen at all.
No, we already dealt with the Deshaun Watson fully guaranteed, and we had to squash that. Is the NFL. We had to squash it, pretend that fully guaranteed deals are not happening. So now you don't want to add in, well, now, if you're a real star player and you want to make a move, that's part of the bargaining. And then the players go, well, if you want me to stay, because I'm Patrick Mahomes, and, I can demand a trade, and I want you to trade me to this team because they're going to give me an ownership stake.
I cannot believe the NFL agents, they allowed the NFL owners to dismiss, disregard, and ignore the Deshaun Watson deal and act like a fully guaranteed deal for quarterbacks They broke all the rules of the market.
It has never happened.
They broke all the rules of the market where precedent gets set, and you go in negotiating from that last precedent of the franchise quarterback. And the NFL, they all colluded. Whether they would have or not. They colluded and decided that, no, the Browns, they are a dumpster fire of a franchise. They don't count, and neither is that contract. We're ignoring it. And Kyler Murray signed a deal. Lamar Jackson signed a deal. Jalen Hurts signed a deal. And now, and by the way, Justin Herbert just signed a deal. And that deal now is so buried so deeply, you cannot go back to it for precedent.
Right.
As a player, you can't. Maybe Patrick Mahomes can go to it. Maybe. He's the only quarterback that can reference the Deshaun Watson deal and actually use it as precedent in negotiation. Everybody else pretty much has to go off the last deal that was signed.
Yeah, and also note, I'm not sure agents would have really wanted ownership stakes to be a part of deals either, because there's no percentage of an ownership stake you're going to get in a deal. So if you negotiate it and they take less money, your percentage of the deal seems like it would be less.
Yeah.
So it's not something as an agent you're necessarily looking out for yourself that you'd
Good
be
point.
like, oh, wait, so you're going to take $100 million less because you're getting something that's worth way more.
Way more, yeah.
So you're going to take $100 million, but that's $100 million that I get 15% of. So you're taking $15 million away for a thing that I don't get any piece of.
Yeah.
So there may be some of that where agents are like, look, we don't want to negotiate that either. It doesn't necessarily do anything. Like, Patrick Mahomes is a different case because it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he's kind of an outlier in all this.
But you're saying we don't want that to be a part of – agents may be okay with this.
Guys, the texter brings it up. It's a great point, and we probably can end it on this one. In 1998, John Elway turned down 20% of the Denver Broncos for $36 million.
Yep.
Still.
And based on the closing price, the closing sale of the most recent sale of the Denver Broncos, which was it's like $4.6 billion, he would have he would have gotten, or at least his stake would have been worth, I should say. I don't know if he would have gotten this. I don't know if he would have sold it, but his stake would have been worth $930 million.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That one stings. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's a lot of money.
A worse decision than drafting Brock Osweiler because it was his kid's roommate.
He was terrible at drafting quarterbacks. He was. But he
the
brought in Peyton
absolute
Manning.
worst.
He did.
He brought
He
in Peyton
didn't
Manning.
draft him.
He did. I said, exactly. He realized
He didn't
I can't draft him. I can bring him in.
I need somebody that's already established to come in here. And then he brought him in when he had a busted neck.
Wow.
So it wasn't that great of a move.
I forget all about that. That reminds me of that. What's that? The guy's name? I think it's Ronald Wayne. He is he was the third co-founder of Apple. Remember this guy? They had three founders, and one of the founders was Ronald Wayne, and he joined Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs. They were 21 and like 25 at the time, and he basically sold his 10% stake in Apple, like right after they disbanded as a group. And yeah, I think he sold it. He said he had taken out a $15,000 loan and wanted to pay it back, which made sense. So at the time,
He didn't want no debt.
he sold his shares back to Steve Jobs and Wozniak for $800. Today, his stake in Apple will be worth $95 billion. That hurts.
See it through, guys.
I don't know how
See it through.
How do you get over that one?
You don't.
You don't get over that one.
You don't.
He's like,
Unless you created something else, but you ain't getting 95
It's
back.
like, why didn't you just keep like 5% of it or 2%?
Right.
Just keep a little. and see
Just
what
get
happens.
enough to pay the bill.
Oh.
Just get enough of it back to pay the bill.
He said they spent 12 days negotiating with Wozniak and Jobs, and Wayne had his name taken off the contract and sold his shares back to the co-founders for $800.
He didn't even have enough to pay
He
the
didn't have
bill.
to pay off the loan. He still
he
still
had to
was
go
in
to
debt.
get another
It was
job
like, bro, just stay in debt, and then you got generational wealth coming later on.
and write it off. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. I forgot about John Elway being offered that stake. Yeah, John, that was a dang coaching mistake on that one. Got to take that ownership equity. That's always a better idea. That's what Lionel Messi's doing in the NFL. They are scared ishless.
Oh,
about
for
it.
sure.
They really are. All right, we come back. We'll get into a little off the record on the other side. Travis Kelce is my hero. I love me some Travis Kelce, but after this, I think y'all gonna love him even more. We'll talk about that when we come back right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about my favorite tequila. It is Hot Cat Tequila. As a matter of fact, got a chance to enjoy some Hot Cat Tequila on National Tequila Day. They had it earlier this week. Got a chance to enjoy that Hot Cat Tequila. And it's the perfect way, folks, to get the party started. We all know the cat stands for cinnamon, agave, and tequila. And the recipe is just as simple, just as delicious, just cinnamon, agave, nectar, and tequila. That's why it's so light. That's why it's so smooth. It's every tequila lover's dream. And if you're not a fan of tequila, well, Hot Cat Tequila will turn you into a fan of tequila. It'll turn any event into a party, and every party feels like a celebration. So celebrate and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. And once you try Hot Cat, you'll never, ever, ever go back to that old cinnamon whiskey or that cheap tequila you ordered rounds of when you were just trying to get the party started. So turn up your party with Hot Cat Tequila. It's the perfect way to pregame for all the big games, concerts, festivals, or any night on the town with family and friends. Best served cold for a quick round of shots or to sip on the rocks. So visit cattequila.com. That's cattequila.com to find a store near you that sells Hot Cat Tequila. I actually got mine from Specs. You can get yours there too. They also got that Blanco Hot Cat Tequila, that Blanco Cat Tequila as well. You can also go to cattequila.com to find out where they sell and serve Hot Cat Tequila. Toast and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when Patrick the Idealionaire, he takes jams from a certain soundtrack that inspired him, and based on the selections that are played, Harge and I are supposed to gather clues and hints that lead us to the featured film of midweek movie music. And it's Boomerang is the movie that we are featuring today, which is kind of the, I believe it's Eddie Murphy's only attempt at a true rom-com. And he knocks it out of the park in Boomerang. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. And this, Toni Braxton at her peak, right? She's the peak of Toni Braxton. Love should have brought you home last night.
Yeah, buddy.
You know what? Women dropped this a lot back then. I had a couple women hit me with this back then when this song was out. Love should have brought you
weren't
home
trying
last
to come
night.
home?
Well, I came
You
home
was in
late.
them streets.
So I came home late, and I'm like, I was hanging out with my boys, kicking it at the club, or we was at the gentleman's club hanging out, whatever, in them streets.
is watching.
And she'd be like, "Well, you should have wanted to be home with me. I'm more fun than your friends." I'm like, "No, you're not, but that's okay." You're not. Women hate that you have more having fun without them. That's the big thing. Women, your
Because
woman,
they want to have fun, too.
they want you to be the reason they have fun.
There it is.
No, it isn't she wants you to have fun. She wants to be the reason that you are smiling and having fun. And when she is not, and you're like having a ball with somebody else, I don't know, it's a little jealousy. It's weird.
That is a good point.
It's almost like my wife won't let me watch shows that we watch. I can't watch them alone on my own.
You got to make sure you got the time
And I'm
together.
because I want to enjoy one of my favorite television programs. She doesn't like me to get joy without her. She wants to be the source of all my joy. And I'm like, I want joy independent of you.
Yeah.
All right, it's okay.
Sometimes you got to keep it moving.
You got to keep it moving, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone says Vampire in Brooklyn, also a rom-com. Vampire in Brooklyn, you can say it's a rom-com, but it's also more sci-fi than rom-com. And he also, just like Nutty Professor, he dresses up as different characters. To me, I don't know. That's less rom-com and more just straight up comedy in different genres. He actually goes out of his way to make Boomerang a rom-com. The rest of his comedies, they kind of fall and they kind of stumble into being a rom-com. They don't intentionally try to do that. Boomerang, he intentionally is rom-com guy. Like he doesn't play any character. He's not dressed up in a fat suit, no makeup on. Eddie Murphy, rom-com. That's the whole plot of it. All right, let's get to, speaking of rom-coms, Travis Kelce. He was trying to create a rom-com with Taylor Swift. He talked about this on the podcast. He's the multicast he has with his brother Jason. Here's Travis Kelce talking about how he went to shoot his shot with Taylor Swift.
Speaking of Taylor Swift, I know you went to the Taylor Swift concert. How was it?
Yeah, well, I was disappointed that she doesn't talk before or after her shows because she has to save her voice for the 44 songs that she sings. So I was a little butthurt I didn't get to hand her one of the bracelets I made for her.
You made her a bracelet?
Yeah. If you're up on Taylor Swift concerts, there are friendship bracelets, and I received a bunch of them being there, but I wanted to give Taylor Swift one with my number on it. Not right now.
Your number's in 87 or your phone number?
You know which one. She doesn't meet anybody, or at least she didn't want to meet me, so I took it personal.
She probably just hasn't gotten over the Super Bowl yet. She's a big Eagles fan. Maybe she just made something up and just didn't want to talk to you.
All right.
I love those guys, man.
They are really funny.
They are hilarious.
Okay, so do we agree with Travis Kelce trying to shoot his shot with Taylor Swift? I think it's a smart move.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to be the...
And he's right. 44 songs is absolutely right. She does sing that many. I got family members that went to it. They said she performed the entire time, except for when she was changing clothes to come back out. They said she sings that many songs.
She's very talented.
I mean, I was like, man, I know 0 Taylor Swift songs.
I actually have 0 Taylor Swift in my phone, and I think that no,
it's amazing.
I think I need to remedy that. I think I need to have some Taylor Swift in my phone. So if you Swifties out there, give me, for a grown black man, give me a Taylor Swift song that jams and bangs that I can. Don't give me the teeny bopper stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Give me something that's got some substance to it that Rod B can feel, because I know she's talented. I just want to, I want to have the right jam.
Yep.
To put in my phone for Taylor Swift.
Okay.
I'm good. I don't need it.
You don't need any?
No.
I want some.
Hey.
I want some Taylor Swift in my phone.
She's not in mine either.
What?
No, if there's one that comes out and it finds its way to me and I hear it, then I'm like, oh, that's great. I don't see that happening. And I'm okay with that.
No, I'm okay with it, but she is a phenomenon. I mean, in terms of
She is definitely a phenomenon.
Right now in music, if you talk about just, I don't know, pop music, I guess, there's not a bigger pop star in the world right now, is there?
No, I can't imagine.
I can't imagine this, right?
No.
Yeah. Which
But, like-
makes her like top 10 biggest stars in music right now.
But that was like, I didn't think I'd like
Period.
Bruno Mars, and then you were like, oh no, there's several tracks of his that I like.
Oh, I love Bruno.
I,
Bruno
do
Mars
think
is
that-
great.
but
I
again-
do got Bruno in my
I
No,
phone.
but
got
that was the
lost-
thing.
I got
But
tons
he
of
was
Bruno.
a pop star
Yeah.
that you were like, I was like, oh, I wouldn't expect that. Taylor Swift's been around long enough that people have played enough stuff, and I've heard enough of her songs, and not one of them I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play that again. Like I've never searched it to play it again.
Okay. So I got, how about this? The cracked apple of Austin says, I'm a Swiftie in game and I did something bad. Okay.
There you
In
go.
game, I did something bad. I'm write them down. I want some Taylor Swift in my phone. I'm not afraid to. I'm
Just even
masculine
those,
enough. I can
even
admit
those
this.
titles make me think that they're letters from 14-year-old girls in high school. Both of those I already hear in my head.
Texas says, Rod, Bad Blood featuring Kendrick Lamar. Oh yeah, I actually know Bad Blood.
I think I
We
did.
played it on
think
the
I
show.
did.
I can
Yeah, was
sing
finna
Bad
say,
Blood
you
right
played
now.
It on the show
I probably
before.
can sing the chorus of Bad Blood because I think it
We
just says
played
Bad
it.
Blood.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's still not one that's gonna hit my rotation. Then again, I also listen to like a lot of music from the 60s and 70s. So it's there might be
There's a
other
lot of
issues for me.
reasons why she's not going to be
Okay.
on your phone.
Okay. Yeah, I know, but at least he recognizes her talent. He's just saying it's not for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Mila Kunis. I know she's hot. She's just not my kind of hot. I don't like the little teenage boy body stuff. All right, we'll come back. We'll get into some news, notes, and nuggets from the NFL, restructured contracts, also college football discussion right here on Baldo Live, Waterford on the Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. Man, when was the last time we played Johnny Gill on Ball Don't Lie? Might be the first time we played Johnny Gill.
I don't know. He may have been somewhere else.
Yeah. Johnny Gill, oh man, back in the day, had one of the best voices in R&B, no question about it.
Yeah, he did.
Purpose of midweek movie music, for those who don't know, is when Patrick, the Idillionaire, he takes jams from a certain soundtrack that inspired him, and based on the selections that are played, Harge and I are supposed to gather clues and hints that lead us right down the yellow brick road to the featured film of midweek movie music. And today it is Boomerang, one of Eddie Murphy's, I'll say his signature project, because like I said, he didn't really have many roles like that Boomerang role.
No.
Right?
No.
There's not a lot of roles he had like the Boomerang role. So I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies,
Plus a big soundtrack. I think it's 6 singles on the soundtrack.
End of the Road's on there. And I got it for the End of the Road song because you couldn't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
I remember at the time.
They did a lot of these for the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So it's like that, and they put out the singles of them.
Yeah. That's really good stuff, man. That's actually one of my favorite soundtracks. I actually own that soundtrack. Shout out to my man Harge, who actually figured out it was Boomerang before the 4 o'clock hour. He actually figured it out in the break.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Because, yes, the black card possibly could have been canceled.
Yep. Chan was trying to get us canceled.
Chan
He was
was trying to
like,
get us-
stump him, Patrick. Chan was trying to get us done.
My man Harge rose to the occasion, so we appreciate him. Also, we appreciate you on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. You also can hit us up via Twitter. Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. My man Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis, and I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. All right, gentlemen, that's a lot of big news that has actually dropped, so we're bumping a lot of our college football conversation. We'll get back to it, I promise you. But there's big news in the NFL. Everybody seems to be signing new deals and getting new money. And Aaron Rodgers is the latest. Gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers has signed an extension with the Jets. So give it up for Aaron Rodgers. And he decided to, the way this looks, he took a pay cut.
It did.
Yeah. And I got to tell you right now, I think it kind of goes to what you've talked about, Harge, with Aaron Rodgers, that he is now focused, and he's focused in an unselfish manner. And I'm not saying selfish all the time, but you can tell he's team-oriented. You wanted him to show up for all the OTAs and organized team activities and the off-season work, and he showed up for the off-season work to get with the youngsters. And now I think this is another example of him being all in. Now, he agreed to move I think a $58 million option bonus from 2023 to 2024 before his trade. And he left only like $1.16 million in cash and cap space for the current year. Under the prior deal, Rodgers was also due to make, I think, $107.55 million in 2024, a 2-year total of $108 million. So essentially, now he has decided to take a pay cut and allow them to have a little bit more cap space. So a lot of people believe that, with this cap space, maybe the Jets can make another move, or maybe they will be looking to make a splash in free agency. There's still a lot of free agents out there that have gone unsigned, and probably one of the most popular ones is Dalvin Cook, who's going to end up in that division somehow.
Exactly. That's when you sit there and you start looking around and you say, there's a move that's being made. Well, Dalvin Cook put a smiley face on his social media just moments after they realized that he had made that deal. Okay. So that is very, very interesting to me.
Smiley face. Okay. That would make sense. Like, how do you convince Aaron Rodgers to take a pay cut?
Unless you're trying to make a move to a championship.
You go to him and the pitch is, okay, Aaron, we want to win a Super Bowl with you. We can do it. We need to make a couple of more moves. If you sign a team-friendly extension with us, it'll give us a lot more wiggle room to make a move, maybe even a Dalvin Cook-type move, and that would be, to me, a game changer. So it's basically his new deal is a 2-year, $75 million guaranteed contract through 2024. He nearly had $110 million guaranteed remaining on his old deal. So, yes, he is going to take less money for the next 2 years to be with the Jets.
Team player. He's doing everything that I've been asking him to do that he would not do for the Green Bay Packers.
And you picked him to win the division.
I did.
Didn't you pick him to win the division?
Yeah, buddy. They're going to be going up against Kansas City in the AFC Championship.
And you don't even necessarily like Aaron Rodgers that much. But that's how much you believe in what you've seen so far in the offseason.
He's shown me that he seems to be all bought in. And he knows what the naysayers are saying. He knows that the haters are out there. and trying to go at him. And I'm one of those guys. I'm like, you haven't done anything. Everybody talks about how great you are. You took your team and you won one Super Bowl with all those MVPs, all those opportunities that you had, and you come up short, just like everybody else when it comes to that. But you do get your one ring. You did get it.
Mm-hmm.
But now you are now putting yourself in a position with a lot of talented players on that team, and you're going to elevate your game, and it seems like you're bought into helping this team elevate theirs.
I was saying Aaron Rodgers, when he's motivated, like
Ooh,
he was
he's
when
dangerous.
he came out of college, then he had to sit on the bench and, behind Brett Favre. He came out like gangbusters when he got a chance to play because he was motivated, grinding that entire time. He did it again after the Packers decided to draft Jordan Love, and he thought, oh, they're drafting a quarterback to replace me. Let me show these mofos that I'm not easily replaced. I'm a Hall of Fame quarterback. I still got GOAT stuff in me. And he went on and proved it, had an MVP season. And I think he's at another crossroads in his career. Now, this is almost the end of his career. We're in the twilight of it. But I think this last crossroads is he wants to go out with a bang. And I'm talking about a Super Bowl bang with the Jets, Jets.
Yep.
And he wants to quiet all the naysayers once and for all, even the ones, that have, talked about Aaron Rodgers. Maybe Father Time is catching up with him, that his skills have deteriorated. And maybe that's true. But still, his skill level may be high enough to lift the Jets overall as a team to become a championship contender. No doubt his skills have deteriorated, but I still think, just like we said that about Tom Brady when he went to the Bucs, skills deteriorated doesn't mean he still is not one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's just not what he was 8 years ago. None of us are.
No, you're 100% on that one, bro. But I sit there and I look at what Aaron Rodgers is doing. You look at that team, and I know a lot of people are looking at the Jets and saying, come on, man, they're the Jets. They're not. This is a different Jets when you have a quarterback that will go out there and do what is expected of a premier quarterback to do. He is that guy. He is that guy that's going to make the wide receiver group. I told you yesterday, him and Sauce Gardner are partners. That's the defensive back. They hang out all the time.
He bought Aaron
Bought him
Rodgers a piece of chain.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
bought him a
is
piece of
looking
chain,
out
man.
for him. And you know what that does? That make people on the defensive side play a little bit harder,
Yes,
go
it
right
does.
after people.
It does.
Because they know if we get the ball back to them, we're going to be able to pin our ears back because they're going to score so we can go and get the other team's quarterback. So his energy is going to be totally different than what we saw in Green Bay because he looks different.
He does.
And he looks like that guy like you were talking about that came out of college where he's like, all right, I got to wait in the green room. Let me show you what it's all about.
He's even taken Zach Wilson under his wing.
Yeah, I saw
There's
him
lots
working
of clips
together.
of him
Yeah.
like tutoring Zach Wilson.
Yes.
So he's looking past Zach Wilson's comments about that he wasn't going to be very friendly and amicable towards Aaron Rodgers. All this out the window. I think the team is focused. They believe.
Yep, that's exactly
He
right.
has turned them into believers that they can be a Super Bowl team. All they needed was his presence.
No, and I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see once adversity hits if he continues to be this guy, and he may. But we know that's kind of where the line is for everybody is it's really easy to be nice when everything's going your way. And when you're like, oh, man, I took a pay cut, I'm still making, 50 times more than any running back is going to make?
Seriously.
So I can go out there and I get it. I'm going to do all the right things because I'm going to prove everybody wrong and I'm going to live the right life. And I'm going to be the virtuous one who's going to help and make everything better. And then they go, hey, you threw 2 picks in that game and you cost us a game. We hate you.
Yeah.
And does he then still not sell anybody else out and go, you know what, that's on me, and I just have to work hard and get better? Or does he go like, well, I don't have an O-line here, and so.
Yes, because Aaron Rodgers is notorious, and I don't like these types of leaders. He has notoriously been a leader that when they lose, he's a we guy. We lost. And when they win, he's a me guy. And you should be the flip. You should be the opposite of that, right? When you win, you should be all about we. Oh, we did this. We did great. It was a we thing. That's why we won the game. It was us as a collective unit, as a team. And when you lose, you're the leader.
Right.
Just be like, you know what? I didn't get it done. I need to be better. Even if you played a great game, who cares? Take the burden
the high
off of
road.
others. Yeah,
That's
because
right.
you're the leader. You've been blessed. You've been rewarded, or you are responsible for being a leader on that team. That is part of the burden of leadership.
Correct.
So
That's why you put in that position.
Yeah, so
for sure.
I think if he flips that, it starts. If their first loss, I'm with Patrick. That first loss, say it's a bad one, embarrassing, whatever. Team
Yeah,
you're not supposed
he
to
has
lose
a bad
to.
game.
He has a bad game, whatever it is, and he goes up there, and it's like, it's on me. I got to be better.
Yeah.
I got to be a better leader. I got to prepare us better. Even if, like, he didn't have a bad game, but it's about him.
Oh, yeah, like the defense lets him down, and so Robert
Yes,
Sala's to
whatever.
blame.
Drop by a receiver, whatever.
Yeah,
'Cause remember
yeah.
those drops by the Packers receivers alone? And he was killing them in the media, just throwing them under the bus.
Oh, yeah, all these young guys.
Yeah, right?
Guys shouldn't be in the league.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think if he's ready to take on that burden, which I think he is, because this whole team is young.
Yes.
This is a very young team. I mean, they
Very
basically built this.
impressionable.
Yeah, they basically built this squad over the last 2-3 drafts, and they really good drafts, by the way. Some of the best drafts in the NFL.
Because those
last
people
years.
came from winning programs too.
Yeah, offensive rookie of the year,
Yep.
defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
So I think Aaron Rodgers recognized he's got something special. He's got 2 years to pull it all together and to win a Super Bowl. And who's got him in the Super Bowl? Was that
No, I couldn't.
you have him in the conference championship?
Yeah, I got him playing
Yes.
Kansas City.
You got him in the conference title game.
Until you can beat Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
you got to go with Patrick Mahomes.
I agree. Okay, somebody on the Specs X line, thank you for the Mila Kunis photos. I will admit, that's a little overly harsh about Mila Kunis. Mila Kunis is beautiful and gorgeous. And yes, of course, the body's banging. I'm just joking.
Just not your flavor.
It's exactly just not my thing.
Yeah,
The body,
yeah.
of course the body's banging. She's great. She's fantastic. But everybody,
Don't lie to him on the way
no,
out,
but
Rod.
everybody's obsessed with Mila Kunis, though. Like, when I mention Mila Kunis, you people think like that she's like, like she's like Scarlett Johansson or like something like that. Like that's
Scarlett
on that
got
level.
them things.
Scarlett's
Yeah, she
both
is.
her and Scarlett are beautiful, but Scarlett's thick.
Yes, she is.
She's voluptuous.
She's one of my favorite superheroes, and I don't even know what
Yes.
character she is.
Exactly. So the Mila Kunis thing, she is fantastic. Like I
Yeah.
said, she's amazing. It's just not my cup of tea. That's all
Yeah.
it is. All right, that's what we're talking about.
Yep.
Anyway, some really passionate Mila Kunis fans sent me like 5 or 6.
Oh,
really
all the way through.
scantily clad Mila Kunis
Yeah.
fans.
Just had him already.
Had them exactly. Had them in the phone already, which means you are a really big Mila Kunis fan, and you got those in your
Yeah, fan is not the phrase she uses.
yeah, you got those photos, that album, that secret hidden album. That's your Mila Kunis album. We
And
know.
my favorite part was like,
Oh man, that's
this is
great.
my last one.
I know he's like, and one more for you, Robbie. And you're right. Trust me, I looked at him and I went, you know what? It's more
It looks a
impressive
little
than I
bit
thought.
different, yeah.
It's more impressive than I thought. But she, she's trying to show it all off. Good for her. All right, let's get to some of the other NFL news, notes, and nuggets. Let's talk about the Cowboys just really quickly while we got some time here. So Cowboys, just the updates on training camp. There was bad news about Donovan Wilson, who left practice on a cart. After examination, turns out it was a calf strain. So no big deal. He's big money now, though, because he just signed that big contract this offseason, which means they don't keep him out for at least, 3-4 practices.
Oh, yeah.
Just to err on the side of caution.
Just to hang out for a little bit and let
Yes.
him make sure that he's okay and just take your time. But going back to what we talked about, drink more water.
Drink my water, man.
You're
Hey,
in a different climate.
what are the chances he signed that big deal? Biggest deal he's ever signed, right? He's a late round pick out of A&M, good player, and that he had a hell of a vacation this offseason after signing that deal. He deserved it, by the way.
Oh, for sure.
But he probably went to Hawaii for like 3 weeks and didn't
Yeah.
do a damn thing.
Wasn't locked in like he was supposed to.
Gained about 8 pounds.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
drinking
good,
and
man.
sipping, but it wasn't a lot of water.
No,
it was
hey man,
a
I'm hitting
lot.
the gym. I'm hitting the gym and just doing some light
Yeah.
cardio.
Yeah.
He's working out with the old people at the resort.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Oh, yeah. So, you know what? But either way, it's not serious, so Cowboys fans don't freak out about that. Jordan Lewis, that is a little bit more serious. Remember, he has the Liz Frank injury. He's recovering from the average time to return from a Liz Frank injury was on 11 months, a little over 11 months. So he's still in that window, and they put him on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list, so he will not be available to start the season for the Cowboys. But they're loaded at DB. Thank the Lord.
hey, and be happy. Who is not on that physically unable to perform list?
Terrence
Tony
Steele.
Pollard.
Oh, yes,
Darren
you're right.
Fleming. Tony
Yeah.
Pollard not on that.
That is big.
That is big.
That is huge. And I still am worried about the Cowboys running back position, guys. I'm sorry.
I am, but that is a big thing to have him at camp and starting to work out and practice and not have him in a point of where week 1 is a question and then week 2 because if you're not playing and up and getting reps, before week 1, you're not ready for week 1.
No, that's a good point. And at least we'll get a lot of reps from the backup running backs in the preseason.
Yes.
So you'll get to see what they're made of. I don't expect to see Tony in the preseason, but he's going to be practicing, of course,
Yeah.
a ton. But I don't expect to see him. But you're right. That's big because the Cowboys have other options at running back, but I don't think they have any. And I don't have any proven commodities there, in my opinion, that can be the workhorse kind of main course of the running game, except for Tony Pollard.
I feel
But
the same
remember,
way.
This is
And
crazy.
I'm a Cowboys fan, and I've been dealing with this.
Yeah, because Skip Pete, I keep going back to that Skip Pete quote where he says Tony Pollard does not need to be overworked as a workhorse running back. Here's the quote from Skip Pete. He said, some guys are race cars, some guys are high-quality, expensive sedans. Those sedans can go forever and for a long distance at a very high rate, where race cars go very fast and quick, and then they run out of gas. I've always just felt at that position, you got to have two guys that are quality backs and that can help each other, bounce off each other, and it helps if their running styles are a little bit different. He said the juice isn't the same with Pollard, and he's not as quick, not as fast. When he had that long run on 3rd and 1, he was talking about a 54-yard run versus the Bears. He said as soon as he came to the sideline, he said, "Coach, I'm done. I'm done for the game. Done. I got no more." And just basically, he's comparing Tony Pollard to one of those race cars, runs out of gas real fast, but also can go from 0 to 100 real quick. And they need another sedan. They need a sedan. He's the race car. They need a sedan. Who's the sedan?
They're looking at it to be Malik Davis. Now, that would be the name that I'm looking at,
not a sedan.
or Ronald Jones. That's another guy.
That's not a sedan.
What I'm looking
That's
at,
the old model.
It's a Corolla.
Tony Pollard is sitting in the meeting room like
wrong with
this,
that. I like
looking at
Corollas.
Skip Pete, talking about, I took that personal. So he went out there and went to work.
He did,
So
he did
maybe he
know.
went out there and got himself in better shape, understanding the workload that he's going to have. And I think that he may be able to do that. He may not have those long runs or try to take it to the house near as much, but if he gets to the open field, I still think he does have that ability to get there, and I think he's going to be able to be able to do so. So I'm not going to put it past him. I think he was trained a different way because he knew he wasn't going to be that back.
That could be
And
true.
maybe that's how he was. So
Yeah.
I think he went differently about his training. So I, as a Cowboy fan that is looking for some help, I need this.
I know. They still can go out and get a running back. Once teams trim down the rosters, there'll be running backs cut.
Yeah, and I would think even if you're going to say Pollard's going to get the main carries, I'd like to have a short yardage guy, somebody that can just pound the line and push forward and get you a yard or two. Because I don't know if they have that guy on that roster. Because if it's not Tony Pollard, Deuce Vaughn's not that guy. He's great at a lot of things, but that's not one that would put on him.
Yeah.
And then unless Malik Davis somehow becomes that guy over the offseason, Ronald Jones ain't that guy.
Yeah, you're right. And Zeke, that was actually one of the things he was good at.
Yeah,
Was the short yardage. He was actually really good. They're going to miss him in that area, too. I think they got a fullback they like, though. Is it Luepke? Hunter Luepke?
Man, when you seen a fullback, you think we're going to try to go out there and run the
No,
San Francisco 49ers offense?
They put that fullback in, and just everyone comes up to the line.
Exactly.
No, I'm sorry. I think they like this kid, Hunter Luepke. I think he's out of North Dakota State.
Okay.
And he's really good in short yardage, though. I know. You scoffed at it.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's like the Big 12. We're going to put Player of the Year. We're going to put all these positions out there. We're going to throw a fullback out there. Who's going to be the Big 12 fullback? No, nobody even have fullbacks.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm not trying to take up for fullbacks, but advocate for them. But Cowboys, they're gonna need a short yardage solution.
They're
That's
going to
for
need
sure.
something for sure.
But yeah, not worried about the Jordan Lewis pup injury concern with the Les Frank because they're loaded at DB.
Yep.
The run plan has been great. Kelvin Joseph, we'll see. Eric Scott, they love that 6th-round pick from this past season. Dan Quinn keeps talking about him in very complimentary ways. Nahshon Wright and Israel Makuyamu. Who played safety and nickel for you, so they use him as a hybrid in a lot of different ways. So they got some young DBs to really fill the voids until Jordan Lewis is healthy. But the hope is that nobody else ends up getting hurt in that secondary.
No
'Cause,
doubt.
Obviously, first day of training camp, you're already dealing with guys who are at least going down at practice. Also, Zach Martin is holding out. It's official. He did not report to training camp for the first practice, so it's official. He's holding out. It is. It's not really a concern. For Jerry Jones. He says that he's definitely a part of their plans. I think they're already working on a deal with Zach Martin. He's the 9th highest paid guard in the league right now, and he's the best guard in the league. That doesn't track. You got to get him back in the top 3, top 5. The Cowboys will definitely do that.
Especially now that you're looking across the league and you're seeing offensive linemen signing these deals, that it's like, They haven't proven what he's proven. Now, Laramie Tunsil, yeah, he's that dude. But I'm not so sure that Howard for the Texans is that type of guy. I didn't know that he was that good. I thought for a while they were questioning that pick.
They were.
So there's a lot that goes into it. So looking at him and the fact that he just got a 99 on Madden, he knows this is my time to hold out because this market's going to change. And I keep going back to this, and I know we don't talk a lot about this, but the salary cap is going to go up.
Yes, it is.
So you're going to have the space. Make sure you set up the contracts to the point that you have the space by the time it happens.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that. You can move money around.
Yeah.
You can convert it into signing bonuses. Whatever you have to do to make sure that big man can get into camp, that's what you do.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. It's I've been looking at the numbers about the salary cap because of the Justin Herbert contract. We've been talking a lot about the salary cap, and it's amazing how the cap basically has grown since 2013.
Mm-hmm.
The salary cap for the NFL has grown 82%.
Yes.
Damn near 83%. It's 82.7%. The quarterback market has grown even more than that, guys. Think about it. In 2013, Aaron Rodgers was the NFL's highest paid player, making $22 million per year 10 years ago.
Right.
And 10 years later, there are 18 quarterbacks alone making $22 million, over $22 million. 12 making $40+ million. And now you have 4 making $50+ million. That's just 10 years, guys.
Right.
In 10 years, you're from $22 million is your highest paid player to now 4 quarterbacks making above $50+ million in just 10 years.
Right.
Anybody want to do the
Half
math
of them
or
are doing
track
it
that
in 1
rate?
year. Half of them are getting signed in 1 year.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year we've gotten 3 of them, right?
Right.
We got Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson,
And now
Herbert.
And
you're gonna get another one.
You're going to get Joe Burrow.
Burrow will probably be before this year's out.
And you're going to get Dak again, too, by the way.
Dak will come up. Yeah.
Yep.
Then maybe they'll wait till after the year, but they're gonna re-sign Dak. They basically have been talking about that for a year now.
Yeah.
The sooner you do it, the better.
Shh, don't tell too many people because they're about to hit us on the Specs text line.
Don't
Dak
wait.
is whack.
Don't wait till Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow sign their
Exactly.
deal. That's stupid.
Yep.
I will say, can you wait till like Wednesday of next week? I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't want to have to deal with the hate. Wait until Wednesday next week.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I don't disagree with Patrick on that one. I don't disagree.
Hold up.
It'll be
Wait.
somebody else's problem then.
Exactly.
All right, there you go. So a little NFL discussion. Also, Terrence Steele, good news, Cowboys fans. Terrence Steele also not on the PUP list. He's returning to camp, and he's returning to practice with the Cowboys. Maybe he tore his ACL, MCL, and MPFL. He just ripped that thing to shreds.
I don't even know what an MPF is.
I actually don't know either. I ain't gonna lie. I just saw it, just reading it off to you guys. But yeah, he's gonna be back, so that's really good because the Cowboys, now that offensive line, it should be a strength. You're gonna get Zach Martin back, so don't worry about that. But now think about it, you can put Tyler Smith at one of those guards with Zach Martin at a guard, and then Tyler Biadasz is your center, and then you can put Terrence Steele at right tackle, and you put Tyron Smith at that left tackle. That's your best 5 right there. And that's a damn good 5. You got 2 Hall of Famers on there potentially, and multiple All-Pro, Pro Bowlers on there too.
Correct.
Yeah, that's legit, man. So that's good news for the Cowboys as well.
Trouble.
Well, they gonna need them because they got to block guys like Nick Bosa, who by the way is holding out too.
Yeah, keep holding out.
The 49ers got to pay that cash
Yeah,
too.
yep.
So
Everybody trying to get their money now.
Yeah, he deserves to get his money though.
Yep.
Nick Bosa, he needs to get his. And then, like I said, the Cowboys. I just wonder who they're working on next. They can't afford not to be working on a deal, like constantly. Because they got CeeDee Lamb coming up. Micah Parsons is also coming up for them. We know they got to get to the Zach Martin thing at one time, too. So they need to be constantly working on signing because, the longer you wait, CeeDee Lamb's just, he's getting happy and giddy. He's like, excellent. Another wide receiver gets paid.
I love it.
And Micah Parsons, I don't think he doesn't matter that much because Micah's going to end up being the highest paid defensive player in history,
No
right?
matter what.
No matter what.
For briefly, though. It'll be briefly.
Who's to pass him?
Somebody's going to pass him. That's just the way the market goes.
It does, but I don't see because right now who's the highest paid defensive player? Is it Aaron Donald?
Which it probably
It should be, but I don't know
which
if
is
it
why
is.
Nick Bosa is trying to get more money right now.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's going to continue to happen.
Yeah, only for a amount of time.
For
You're
a
right.
minute. Just like Ricky Williams broke the rushing record, and next year Ron Dane did too.
What was that quarterbacks? Yeah, you like Lamar
Exactly.
Jackson was the highest paid quarterback in the league for how long? Like
3 months.
Yeah, like 3 months. Man,
Yeah.
that's done.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, it only lasted for like 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Jalen Hurts. We forgot about that.
Jalen's like, come on, man, I need my time to shine.
Right.
So there you go. All right, so we'll get back to some NFL news notes and nuggets tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be more training camp news
For
coming
sure.
out. All right, Astros Rangers. We'll talk about Game 3 tonight. Hopefully, Astros can break out the brooms, but I got a feeling the Rangers are gonna fight like hell for Game 3. We'll talk about that. Also, Lionel Messi scores twice in 22 minutes in the match versus Atlanta United. Now everybody's got Messi fever. We'll discuss that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn.
Mike Arch here, and I want to talk to you about my friends over at Quick Roofing. Jeff Quick started Quick Roofing in 1984 with just one house, and that one house evolved into 200,000 projects. Quick Roofing, it doesn't stay in business that long if it doesn't have a great reputation of customer service and, of course, that great reputation of taking care of what you have asked for. Here are some of the reasons why I use Quick Roofing. I got a free no-obligation inspection. Quick Roofing requires a project manager on every job site, ensuring that you, the customer, get everything that you were promised. Quick Roofing is fully insured and have all state and local licenses. Quick Roofing doesn't even require any money up front until 100% completion and, of course, 100% satisfaction. And with all that, you get a 7-year workmanship warranty. So what are you waiting for? Reach out today and get that free inspection. Go to quickroofing.com today. That is quickroofing.com.
All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn, midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, thanks to all the texters for the Taylor Swift recommendations. I'm going to write those down. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. No BS. I actually appreciate it. I want to jam some Taylor Swift, so I'm going to see which ones I like, and I'll let you know. My wife is kind of into it, too, so I guess I could have asked her, but I think I want to know, like, from my audience, because I know you guys really well, and I think I have more men in the audience. So there's some men Swifties. I want to know what the men Swifties, the male Swifties out there listening to. Because there you go. Because not from the female perspective.
Whatever the kids are playing in their car.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Probably so.
As somebody who has them kids,
that's what happens.
they don't get no playing time in my car.
How about to say the kids gonna listen to what the hell I'm listening to? I didn't get to tell my dad what the hell I was listening to. I listened to James Brown and Motown, and I listened to 610 Sports Radio. That was it. I never got to go. I was like, Dad,
That's why
put
your
it
soul,
on
that's why your
102
soul
Jams.
is there. That's why your soul is so good.
Put on 979. Damn it, I've been like, what? You better go buy you a
You
car.
better go in the beat in your room.
Yeah, exactly. You better go. Yeah, exactly. You better go somewhere with all that.
Go get your Walkman that you was walking around, your Discman that you were walking around campus.
Yeah, if I brought
with.
that, I could jam it in the car. But you're right. These days, kids tell their parents what to jam in the car.
Mom, I want to listen to Kid Bop. No.
Nah, you gonna listen to Tupac.
Yeah.
Listen to Kid Bop. Tupac. Ain't no PG-13 version either. So
Exactly.
make sure you got your mind right. All right. Let's get into little Astros Rangers here, gentlemen. But before we get to this Lionel Messi story, but the Rangers and the Astros still in a series, and the Astros have gotten the better of the Rangers these first two games, but they have both been dramatic endings or dramatic wins, I should say, for the Astros. They haven't come easily. Some controversy, if you'll ask some Rangers fans, with a controversial call in the 8th inning last night, and then there was a controversial call in Game 1, if you ask some Rangers fans. But either way, Astros get the win, and now that division lead for the Rangers down to just one game, Harsh, just one game. And you already gave the good news, and it was implied and hinted by the GM earlier today, but it is confirmed. You're going to get Yordan Alvarez and Jose Altuve back.
No
tonight.
doubt about it.
Yeah.
They're back in the lineup today, and, Houston fans are really excited. Ranger fans, maybe not so much, because as Houston is getting theirs, they're not getting their stars back. They don't have Jacob deGrom is not going to be back, and Corey Seager is still out of the lineup. So that is not helping them. And the main thing for the Rangers is because they have to get better defensively up the middle. Duran has been playing. Ezekiel Duran has been playing shortstop for them, and he hadn't been playing a clean shortstop. Things aren't as smooth as they once were when Corey Seager's in there. So it's going to be a battle tonight. But just like anything else, I know that the Rangers are doing everything possible not to get swept in this series. But I know that the Astros are like, this is our crib. We trying to sweep you right now.
Like I said, I wouldn't have jinxed the Astros and said they were going to sweep the Rangers, considering how well the Rangers were playing. But right now, you're talking the Astros at 58 wins. And, gentlemen, if they get Yordan and Altuve, when they get them back tonight, Yordan and Altuve come back, they're going to infuse this lineup with so much more confidence just because those guys have only played 13 games together. You didn't realize that. So basically, you have not had either one of those kind of all-star caliber force multipliers in this lineup, and you're going to get those guys back. Urquidy, I don't know when he's coming back.
He pitched yesterday.
Oh, did he?
He pitched yesterday in his minor league rehab.
Okay,
went
so-
4 innings.
Corpus Christi, right?
Corpus Christi
Okay,
Hooks.
so you might be getting Urquidy back then.
And he only gave up 1 hit in 4 innings.
There we go. So, like I said, when they get the full complement back, man, the Astros could be a dangerous team. And if you're the Rangers, it's got to be a little bit deflating. Considering you came into this series with a 3-game lead.
Yes.
And now you're going to potentially leave this series. If you don't win tonight, it's going to be tied up.
And this is after, losing the Dodgers series the week before. So because you came out of the All-Star break really hot.
Super hot.
And now you're dropped 2 series in a row. So it is look, Bochy's a really good manager. So he'll get them back on track and face forward. I believe they're playing the Padres next, is their next opponent, which is a team that is underperforming. So you can go in and get some wins there. But yeah, this is hey, don't feel sorry for yourselves. We don't. That's what
Yeah.
that's what
That's
Luke-
the old
Right,
Rangers. Don't.
That's
no.
old Rangers.
Yeah.
You can feel, oh well, no, but Seager's like, no, man. Look, we still got 5 All-Stars.
Come on.
All right, we got 4. How many All-Stars we still are in our lineup that no one else has?
Yep.
Like we can't use that as an excuse. It's nice that Garcia's injury wasn't anything more. You didn't know after he got hit in the hand if he was going to miss more games. He played last night. He played pretty well. He just misjudged one play in the outfield that cost him a run. But other than that, he played pretty well. So you're not too beat up right now. Pitching, could be better, but this is the point where I think you probably go out and try and get another pitcher in the trade deadline. You got a few days left on that.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I was surprised. I really thought there was going to be some news that the Rangers brought in like 4 pitchers today to try and beat the Astros.
They have brought up a bunch of guys. There's been a lot of transactions for the Rangers here the last few days, from Round Rock back to the major leagues. So it is not that far-fetched, Patrick.
Yes.
And I also want to put this out there. Dusty Baker, Brian Taggart out of Houston put this out. Dusty Baker said he was going to hit Alvarez third, but Alvarez wanted Tucker to stay in the 3 spot. So that is a big move for the Astros fans, but it's dangerous for a pitcher that looks at that lineup and said, wait a minute, I got to go from Tucker to Alvarez later in the game. So you're going to have better balance there as well. So
That's great. Yeah. And Patrick brought up Kyle Tucker earlier in the show. He's on an 11-game hitting streak right now, guys. 11 games.
He's playing out of
hot.
his mind right now.
It might be the best he's played. I mean, he's hitting 305. It might be the best in his career.
Pay this man. Pay this man.
Yeah, you better hurry up because he's going to be in high
He's only earning more money.
Yeah, it's true because he's now. Yeah, he's playing with a ton of confidence, and like I said, I don't know if anybody is swinging the bat right now. Him and Chaz, I guess, swinging the bat as well as Kyle Tucker is right now on that team.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick before we go to break here, Lionel Messi, he actually scored 2 goals last night against Atlanta United. I believe the score was 4-0. Inter Miami ends up winning that matchup versus Atlanta United. And here's the crazy thing. So Lionel Messi's played in both of the matches that he's been available for Inter Miami since they introduced him, but he's only played a total of 58 minutes in those 2 matches. In those 58 minutes, he has scored 3 goals and has 2 assists. 1 assist. He has 1 assist and 3 goals in those 58 minutes. He had 2 goals in 22 minutes last night versus the Atlanta United squad. It took him 444 minutes to score 3 with PSG and 741 minutes to do it with Barcelona.
Yeah.
It took him 19 matches to reach 3 goals with Barcelona, 6 matches to reach 3 goals with PSG.
Yeah, he is definitely making that MLS way more important, and people are definitely watching it a lot more. He's bringing more eyes. So to your point, there's a business aspect to it that has gone through the roof for MLS games because ticket prices are gone through the roof. You can't get tickets if they're on your schedule unless you got some bank or you're already a season ticket holder.
Not for Inter Miami, not when they're coming to town. And, he's got that Apple revenue sharing deal with the Apple Plus deal, which I think is like a $2.5 billion deal over 10 years. And, guys, you know how many Instagram followers he has? I think it's like 400 million followers or something crazy like that. And all he does is tweet out the link.
Yep.
Take the Apple Pass, tweet the link. And all he needs is, I don't know, a few thousand people to end up subscribing to it.
Yep.
And he gets the money.
He gets the gate.
Gets return.
He gets the
yeah,
gate.
man, he gets some cash back on that.
And I think on a bigger scale, too, the fact of him coming over may convince a couple other people to come over, raise the level of play, being able to practice with guys like that in the league. The more you can bring over higher level talent to MLS, the more to raise the level of the game of MLS, which means a better product for everybody involved. And the better product means more eyes.
That's right. Yeah, no, it is. And right now, people are paying attention to Messi as well. They should, and what he's doing over there. One quick little nugget, since we're talking about the influence of Twitter followers and Instagram followers. He's got 480 million Instagram followers. But man, you go start looking at now what he has done for their social media presence.
Yeah,
guys. Inter Miami now, I'm not making this crazy. They have the 4th most followed team in American pro sports now.
Mm-hmm.
If you go look at and they're right now, Warriors are at 31 million followers If you go look at, I think they're looking at Twitter here too, if I'm not mistaken. He says Inter Miami added, sorry, this is Instagram. Inter Miami added 11 million Instagram followers since Messi joined the team.
Yep.
Looking at Instagram followers for the Warriors, it's at 31 million. For the Lakers, 23 million. For the Cavaliers, 16 million. That's the LeBron effect. Yeah, two of these teams just got the LeBron effect.
Yep.
And then Inter Miami, 12 million.
It's amazing.
So
it has been amazing.
Fourth most followed
influence.
team
Yeah.
in American pro sports because of Messi.
Yep.
Crazy.
He's a monster.
He
He's a monster, man.
It really is
and
crazy.
my
man.
family has said that they think he is going to absolutely destroy anything
Oh, the records
about the MLS,
Yeah.
any player.
Yeah.
He is just that big of a difference.
Yeah, it's like LeBron James going to the G League. Right?
Yeah.
Or LeBron James going back to college, or Patrick Mahomes playing in the XFL or Canadian Football League. He would dominate.
Yeah.
All right, we come back. We'll wrap it up. Put in the Evan right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9. Getting ready to wrap it up and put it in the oven. Before we do, we'll let you know what's on tap. If you missed any part of any of the shows, please go to hornfm.com. You can catch up with them on the podcast page. All right, Harge, what's on tap for you tonight, brother?
USA women, USA. They play
USA.
tonight against the Netherlands. This is going to be one of their toughest battles in this group.
Netherlands pretty good?
They're pretty solid, but the USA team has eliminated them the last couple times. So this is going to be a really challenge for the USA team. So I'm excited to watch that tonight.
I'll actually DVR that and check. I know, sound
there
old
you go.
again. Man, what's wrong
No,
with
you can DVR. You can DVR. I'm just
Yeah,
messing
you
with
don't sound old until you go, what's wrong with DVR? And these kids today won't answer the phone.
I know what's wrong with DVR, but I'm going to DVR the matchup between the women and the Netherlands, and then I'll probably watch the Astros-Rangers matchup.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm going to do
got?
that as well.
Yeah, I'll be watching Astros Rangers. And also, if you don't know, I have a show where I promote local music. We do 512 Fridays. We do 512
right.
Radio. It's been on for the last 5.5 years on 105.3 The Bat. The last episode is tonight at 9 o'clock on 105.3 The Bat. So if you want to check that out and support some local music, check that out. And follow us on social media at 512 Radio. See where we'll be next. But we'll have that tonight at 9 o'clock.
Patrick, you've had this is your second. Like, you're going to have your second, final show, because you've had Insinceres. You had the final show for Insinceres.
Yeah.
Now you got the final show for 512.
You know I'm a busy person,
And now
so
you
when
don't have-
things wrap up, I got to wrap up a lot of things.
You have had already, two final. You're going to have two final shows before we have our final show.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sadness for you, man.
Oh, it's a lot.
We told y'all that
We're here
Patrick,
for you, brother.
he does have a lot of jobs around here, man. The man does a lot of stuff, but we appreciate his efforts on the show, and we appreciate him on the musically themed days of the week. I was told to tell you, Patrick, that people are really sad about the show going away, but also the musically themed days of the week.
Yep.
People are really sad. Apparently, midweek movie music and new theme Thursday
That's
and
it.
top of the charts
That's
Tuesday,
it.
people freaking love them.
Yep.
I'm getting more compliments and people being sad about that going away than about the content of the
Yeah,
actual
exactly.
show and the people on the show.
It's
So
always good to make people happy.
it's good stuff, man. We always in a good mood for that stuff. All right, so thanks to my man Patrick. Thanks to Hart as well. Thanks to all you folks for listening. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. We'll be talking about it live right here on Ball Don't Lie. We love you guys. We mean that. Take care of yourselves, but more importantly, take care of each other. Peace.